Hello everyone, Relix totally isn't leaving to go fill up their water bottle again at the beginning of stream rather than before. Totally not happening right now. But welcome on in everyone, it is time for Boys, Boys, Boys. Last time the wizard was revealed to be a private investigator, and no one was a fan of that, except for us because his fit is nice. And that's the best summary I can provide us with, because I am very cohesive with thoughts. Yep, totally. I'm good at this. I guess I could load up the save while we're totally not waiting for Relix to come back. Yep. I forgot that I left off on a note like that. Huh. Interesting. I wonder if it's gonna be a POV change again then, but I don't know who. I wonder if it'll be the black border again, which we still don't know who that belongs to. Huh. I wonder where Peachy is.
Private dick investigations with private wizard.
Oh boy.
What? We're obviously saying that he's a detective.
Totally obvious.
I dreamed of you again last night. Unrelated to what's on the screen.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Suddenly, I found myself lost in a world of darkness. Hey, this looks familiar.
Yeah.
No matter where I went, the scenery around me remained static and unchanging. It was like the darkness had consumed everything. All sense of direction, even the very concept of time itself. Were I to stand perfectly still and hold my breath, the only sound would be that of my own heartbeat. Just then, Baka! Someone's voice ran out through the dark void. It felt like they were calling me, so I headed in the direction of the voice. Oh, are we actually from Alice's perspective?
I have no clue.
There, what appeared before me was a giant looking glass. I prodded the surface of the mirror with my finger, and it rippled like water. This is a very specific dream.
Yeah.
Yearning to travel to the other side, I reached out to the mirror. Then I walked through the glass and jumped down into the looking glass world.
Well, guess I'm taking over male NPCs because I don't know who that is. Like, it sounds maybe familiar, but I'm not 100% sure. Could be anyone.
I was gonna say, I thought it was the wizard at first, but I was suspicious when they didn't refer to him as the wizard, you know? Also, yeah,
It could
you
be
take
the...
male NPCs, I take female, remember? That
Yeah,
was
I
the
know,
deal.
I know. I'm just processing, that's all. It could be the wizard putting on a voice like he did when he was the villain in Cinderella's story.
Ooh. What about it like a gruff voice, then?
Now, open your eyes.
Okay. I did as instructed, and the darkness turned to light. Kingdom Hearts.
Do you know where you are right now?
In hell. In front of me was a middle-aged man wearing a lab coat. Is it Ryoshi?
I think it is.
Wait, and a fake smile? That's not Ryoshi.
Well,
Ryoshi smiles or doesn't smile whenever he feels like it.
Silence.
I chose not to answer his question. However, He misinterpreted my silence as hesitation.
安心していい。
Just
私は君の
position.
主治医で
Okay. No one
君
we
の味
know.
方だ。
Best NPC ever. Physician. He's got a job, Sakyu.
Relax, I'm your doctor and I want to help you.
I didn't ask, but okay.
いいかい？
Now
君の
listen,
役割
your
は
role is to guide the
他のみんな
others.
を正しく導くことだ。それは他の誰にもできない。
Only you can accomplish this.
な
The
ぜなら
others inside you,
君の中に
they're
い
not
る彼ら
perfect
は
like you are.
君のように完璧じゃないからだ。
What?
君には辛いことがた
You've
く
been
さ
through
ん
a
あ
lot
った
of pain and misery. You must have
随
hurt a
分
great
悲しい
deal,
思いをした
but
だろ
it's all in the past.
I don't.
う。それは全て過去のことだ。
So are we dealing with like multiple personality sphere, or like
Do you
I
want
forgot the
me to
official name
confirm?
for it? I forgot the official term. I don't want to call it a
This-
disorder because that's not correct.
Multiple personality disorder is not correct. That is very outdated, but it is called
Yes.
dissociative identity disorder. So it's still a disorder.
Oh.
Shorthand is
okay.
DID.
Well. Associative identity. Got it.
Yep.
I'll forget it. Don't worry.
Do you want me to confirm or deny if that's what's happening here, though, since you asked?
No.
Okay, then I won't say
I'm
anything.
just gonna assume. I'm just gonna gather the pieces
Okay,
and figure it out.
okay.
今君に害を
No
与
one's
える
going
人
to
間
hurt
は
you now.
どこにもいない。君は
Sure,
強い
buddy.
人間だ。
You're a strong person. We're sure you can
だから辛い
overcome
過去
that
を乗り
pain
越え
and go on to have a bright
輝
future.
かしい未来を生きていけるだろう。そ
I
の
do
ため
think
に
he's talking to
君以外の存在を消
Alice
さなければならない。
Oh, yeah,
Uh-oh.
definitely. But to that end, we must eradicate the rest.
Well, that's not right, but okay.
When it comes to, like, treating DID, like, integrating all the alters is an option for healing, but that's not necessarily what the system wants.
Yeah, it's not always the best solution. It's definitely one route that they can take. But
it's also integrating, not eradicating, you know?
yeah, it's not eradicating. It's not saying, okay, these other personalities of yours, they gotta go. No, it's like, okay, how can they work together?
We love stigmatized illness. We.
Yay, we
Oh,
as
that's
part of
spooky.
like drama for a Otome game, it's fine because they like the drama.
Yeah.
But like, damn.
Don't worry about
Don't-
the
don't
word
worry,
choice.
spooky.
Yeah, it's just, I used the word earlier and I forgot. Stigmatizing. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it. It's normal.
basically just outdated treatment. Outdated treatments.
We.
一つにまとまり、
It's your life.
君は
You are
君
in
の人生
charge.
を歩むんだ。
It's their life, actually.
Yeah.
さ、
Fuck you.
言ってごらん。
Now tell me, what's your name?
Ki-
Silence. Excellent.
Alice.
He's always so cooperative,
君の名前
Alice?
は
Yeah.
What's your name?
I couldn't satisfy his expectations. After all, I am not Alice. Early that morning, before dawn, I was in the kitchen, tying my apron strings and getting ready to make breakfast for the 7 of us. We're back to the boys.
We.
Everyone was still asleep except for the wizard, who sat on the nearby sofa reading the newspaper.
Of course he would.
Did you get enough sleep last night? He looked up from his paper.
Oh, yes. I slept like a baby. I'm feeling great
今の
this
気分は
morning.
実に爽やかです。
It's so silly.
That's one comfy sofa, then.
Yeah.
I've slept on good sofas. They're nice. Glad to hear it. I flipped the French toast sizzling in my frying pan. That's when you like put the egg in the bread and then fry it, right?
We're on top of it, and then like cinnamon and sugar.
Yeah. You make like a egg vanilla and you mix it up, and then you spread it, and then you fry it up, and then you put cinnamon and sugar on it. Oh, it's so good. Oh, that reminds me, Mr. Wizard.
Hi.
Yes.
If possible, I'd like you to stay here and continue your investigation until you find the culprit, or until the next full moon anyway. That makes sense.
Sure, I don't mind, but
Oh, saying like, stay in the house. Gotcha. I was like, why would she ask that? And it's like, oh yeah, he might go back to his own place and sleep there or something like that.
yeah.
He looked a bit perplexed by my request. I started to worry if perhaps I asked a little too much of him.
I'm really not looking forward to what's about to happen next.
Oh no. He let out a sigh and smiled awkwardly. What do you mean?
When your fiancés find out I'm staying here, we'll be furious.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And right at that exact moment,
What the hell is he doing here at the ass crack of dawn?
he slept on the couch. This is the first thing out of Cinderella's mouth as he walked in. Completely in character.
Mm-hmm. Hello there, Cinderella. Wonderful morning we're having, isn't it?
The wizard set his paper on the table and waved cheerfully.
Wait. Why the hell are you acting like you just moved in?
Cause he just did!
Hey, Artisan, what's going on here?
Cinderella stormed over to me and demanded an explanation, as if he were owed one.
Because he is owed one.
I mean, he lives here. Let's wait until everyone's awake before we have this conversation.
No dear.
Guys, meet your new competitor!
What for?
He furrowed his brow at me dubiously as I pressed the toast down with my spatula. Well, I don't want to have to repeat myself 4 more times, now do I?
Lazy.
That's fair.
Still lazy.
Hey, that's called efficiency. You want something done as cheap and as quickly as possible, give it to a lazy person. After breakfast, it was time to have a chat. She comes in, starts cracking her knuckles. Naturally, the topic was, what the fuck is the wizard doing here first thing in the morning? Well, they're gonna find out the answer to that mystery.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him that my plan was to have him stay until either he caught the culprit or the deadline rolled around. Though I could also see this as like a ploy that Reiki was using to make the boys like be like, I did it, you know?
Maybe.
Just to get them out of here.
I don't like it. It's one thing to have some way to investigate us. That I can accept. But why the hell does he have to stay here?
Cinderella slammed his hand on the table, probably hurting himself in the process.
Maybe.
Surely Mr. Wizard has other business to attend to and such.
I don't, actually. Yeah, I saw that.
I was gonna say, he seemed pretty free
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning. You be quiet!
Sorry.
What does it matter? We have plenty of guest rooms. I mean, all of you are staying here. Besides, he's a detective. Isn't it smart to keep him close at hand in case of danger? He's a detective. He investigates. He's not a cop.
Yeah.
it was my idea, so naturally I was in favor of it. However,
余計安心できませんよ。逆に姉さんが襲わ
it
れるか
isn't
もしれ
smart
ない。
at all. What if he tries to have his way with you?
そうです。
And that's right. Men are
男は
beasts,
皆
you know.
狼なんですよ。
Fred, please.
せやな。ヒーサーはめっちゃ魅力的やしな。
And our puppets, it's tempting morsel. Every single one of them protested against the plan. However, now that seed of like associative identity disorder has been planted in my head, it makes sense why they all have like similar backstories.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because I was always like, why do these details connect, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we can continue. Just racking my brain with ideas now. As I expected, it was going to take a lot of work to convince them. That said, it felt like the conversation was taking a weird turn. Did they think there was something romantic between me and the wizard? Well, that's a loaded question. Could you see yourself falling for the wizard? I think the answer is maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, Spooky, you missed it. We got a cutscene in a hospital where a physician was talking to a patient.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that was the whole eradicated thing.
Yeah. It wasn't confirmed who the patient was, but we can reasonably assume it's Alice.
Yeah, because, like, especially with the wizard's comment from Snowster, it's like, you're the most tragic of us all.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's definitely Alice. Also, we're always with Alice before we go into, like, one of the altars. And there's also that scene where, like, Snow's looking in the mirror and Alice is looking back.
Yeah, look at you connect those dots.
Yeah.
Since you're connecting the dots, let me tell you something that I connected last time. So the
Okay.
order of the brothers with, like, the first second obviously isn't on their ages because Snow is second. It's the order of the altars were formed.
Oh!
So Gretel only being around since being with Reikyu also makes sense because he wasn't formed until after Alice was with Reikyu. Which is also probably part of why he has a sister complex.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Still like you, but yeah, I could see that. Like a personality that manifests because you're obsessed with someone as like a brother-sister relationship. I could see that.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, I think
the answer is maybe.
yeah.
If we're trying to schmooze the wizard here,
Peachy.
I mean, Peachy has spoken.
Goodness
Welcome
gracious.
in, Peachy.
Okay.
Wizard. Peachy, let me ask you. You might have already answered, but could you see yourself falling for the wizard?
He is voiced by Wataru Hatano, so... Okay.
Oh, I love it. Granted, he was a handsome guy, and his confidence was admittedly sexy. I glanced at him out of the corner of my eye. Blush.
What is it?
Nothing! Unfortunately, he caught me in the act, and I quickly turned away. Meanwhile, all the other guys
Yep.
staring daggers at the wizard right now. Honestly, what was I thinking?
Great question, Rinkyu.
Shaking away the distraction, I took a deep breath. Mr. Wizard and I have a strictly professional relationship. I asked him to stay for that reason only. I don't know what you're all worried about, but there's nothing funny going on.
I mean, you already have 5 fiancés. What's stopping you from adding a 6th, Rinkyu?
Yeah, exactly. Polycule time. This is my rebuttal to anyone who didn't approve of me spending time with the wizard. After giving the five brothers a moment to exchange a glance, I looked at each of them in turn. Gretel? No. Red Riding Hood? No. Cops and detectives, while they do work together, they don't like each other. Kaguya tilted his head with a stiff smile, while Snow White and Cinderella nodded. And then the other three are just in on it, because whatever.
Yeah. Alright. Boadicea says this is purely professional, and I'm willing to let it go.
シンデレラ兄さん
Cinderella! Thank you. I cut in quickly before more arguing can start. Yeah, because you already won.
Yeah. But what about college?
Right. That's.
You're not planning on having him follow you around everywhere like some kind of bodyguard, are you?
No, that's why we have Red. With a scowl, Cinderella jerked his thumb at the wizard. This guy. Naturally, we all turned to look at him. I would love it if he just had like a piece of French toast in his mouth right now, just like, huh?
That would be funny.
Actually, yes.
No, there you have it.
We nodded as if we planned it all along.
What was that little pause?
I turned away and started whistling, pretending I hadn't heard the question. That only makes you look more suspicious. I've seen enough anime.
Sorry, fellas. I don't mean to steal your girl or anything, but it's what the lady wants.
Yo, can we put Wizard as like the Mr. coming to steal your girl?
Yeah.
The wizard stood in front of me, shielding me from Cinderella.
Lady Alice, rest assured, you'll be in safe hands with me.
Oh, I bet, buddy. He turned back and shot me a wink. Cool. Thanks. Sister, forget about him. I would be far more useful to you. You know, I could make short work of a thug or two. Sure, you could. Oh, wait. That's the psychopath talking, that's right. Then, with Gretel's introduction, the conversation took a slightly different turn. Uh-oh. I could beat up 5 thugs! However...
But Gretel, you have to go to college too, you know.
I'll just tell him I came down with the flu or something.
No. Gretel, you need to focus on getting your degree. Otherwise, you won't get a good job. Wizard is speaking like a father right now.
Yeah, oh my god, he just came into this polycule and decided, I'm the father now.
Yeah.
She calls me daddy, you guys call me dad. I could call out sick from work and...
Kaguya, you must realize what it means to be the poster boy of your cafe. Without you there, why, the customers will be devastated.
True. You think so?
In that case, I shall be her bodyguard. I'm the most ideal candidate. Okay, wanna be cop. Red Riding Hood, you're a police officer. You need to protect the lives of all citizens, not just her.
Yeah, he's pulling out his private dick card right now.
Fine then. I'll be the bodyguard hand. Cinderella, you have a job of your own, and as I recall, your industry doesn't look lightly on slackers.
one by one, the wizard shot them all down. With this gun he found.
Hi, Snow.
Oh, don't do it, Snow. Don't go in the crosshairs. Snow White.
I'm staying home.
Yep, that's a Snow response.
So, are we in agreement that I'm the best man for the job? But
No buts, mister.
Damn.
This is my boy story. I shut him down, leaving no room for argument. Cinderella fell silent. Now then, isn't it about time you headed out? Don't forget to take your lunch. I gave him a little push.
Cripes, the boss is gonna yell at me. You really said cripes, damn, Cinderella.
That is some old-timey talk right there.
Likewise, I better head down to the station.
And it's okay, you can clock in whenever.
Hey, detective, I'm gonna let you handle this. But, if you lay a hand on Arisu, you're dead meat. Got it?
For context, Reikyu got a letter saying she has to marry one of the boys. Wizard was not one of the boys on that letter.
He is now. Just kidding.
Just
Got it.
pencil him in there.
Yeah.
He is now. And so we all went our separate ways for the day. Sorry about all the drama this morning. The two of us walked side by side in the direction of my college. Kulek.
Oh, I'm not bothered. I'm glad to see they all have fun together.
It made me happy to see him smile. Peachy, look at your man, he's smiling. Right? They have such a close bond with each other. I grinned proudly. However,
And yet, your presence has thrown everything out of whack. Oh, congrats on the 5-stream streak, Peachy, and thank you for contributing to the point challenge. And thank you as well, Felix, for contributing to it.
I didn't realize there was a challenge.
We started it last night.
I was like, huh. In contrast with his gentle tone, his words were barbed. Of course, now, what a notification.
Love is a demon that can corrupt even the smartest of people.
I am still in the camp that Reikyu sent that letter to herself. To kind of, like, shake things up.
What if Alice sent it?
That'd be hilarious. Like, Alice being, like, a mastermind.
Yeah.
Imagine, right?
But there are good things about it, too. Love makes people stronger.
And it's just a ploy to, like, get the personalities to fight and destroy each other. That'd be great.
Oh dear. So perhaps you could change them. All I know for certain is this. You are a positive, healing presence in their lives.
By being the blankest slate character with the fill in the blanks
Oh dear.
personality ever. Nah, she has a personality. It's just like we saw with the whole backstory last time to set the scenario is like she changes herself a little bit for each guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now you're exaggerating. And I feel like Wizard's route is gonna be we're gonna see more of like Reikyu's natural personality come through.
Yeah.
I laughed.
You really think so? As we discussed last night, each of them has deep emotional trauma. Me too, buddy.
Me free.
What they need is love and understanding.
Me too, buddy.
And you have the
包んで
strength
あ
to
げる
accept
だけ
them
の
as they
器を
are.
持っている
Don't they need time too?
Perhaps.
確かに
Time heals a
心の
lot,
傷を
but
癒す
not
の
all
に
wounds.
時間は必
Sometimes
要
you need
で
to
す
work on some stuff yourself.
Yes, it will certainly take some time to heal their wounds.
時間が経てば
As
経つほ
time
ど
passes, their old
新たな
memories
思い
will
出によっ
fade to
て
make room for
記
new
憶が
ones.
薄められていくこともあるでしょう
So we gotta get Snow out of that room, is what
そ
you're
れは
saying.
遠いどこかへ記憶を置いていくことであり
But those old
その
memories
記
never
憶を作
truly
っ
go
た事
away,
実は
and nothing
消え
can
ました
change the fact that those events happen. Apparently, trauma is stored differently in the brain too, so that's fun.
Yeah, it's super weird. I love it. I mean,
誰にでも時間があるとは限ら
that's a
ない
bad
でしょ
statement to say out loud, isn't it?
I figured you meant in the sense that it is interesting and fascinating type of thing, not that you like
Yeah.
trauma.
It's interesting how your brain stores different information,
Mm-hmm.
even bad information.
Yeah. Besides, not everyone has the luxury of time.
For instance, you have like a week.
Yeah, you have like 5 days, sweetie.
Because time is limited?
そうです
Precisely.
時間は
Time
進む
only
もの
goes
であり
forward, never
戻るもの
backward,
ではない
and no one knows which day will be
人
their
はいつ
last.
死んでしまう
It
かわ
might
か
be
らない
tomorrow or the day
明
after
日
that.
かもしれないし
Could be
明
today.
後日かもしれない
That's what you say, wizard, but we have something called a loading screen. Or the next full moon in my case.
え
You're right.
だから
Which is why we must find the
それまで
culprit
に犯
before
人を見
it's
つ
too
けな
late.
ければならない
I snuck a peek at his face and profile. From the side. His handsome features were pointed not at me, but straight ahead.
Yeah, because you should watch where you're walking, Riku.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this girl's
僕は
about to
君
walk
を
into a
殺させる
tree.
つもり
That
は
would
な
be
い
funny.
Yeah, Wizard just like glances over, sees it's about to happen, just like lets it happen.
He would.
He would.
He would help
That's the
her
best part.
after, but still.
Yeah. He'd like bend down after she hits the ground, be like, "Oh," holding out a hand. Oh, you should really watch where you're going.
I have no intention of letting you die.
Well, yeah, you're a detective, right? Which is why you're like trained in the ninja arts and martial arts and have all these gadgets at your disposal. Sometimes you wear a bat cowl. I said, looking back at the road ahead. Oh, she is watching where she's going. Good. He was here purely to solve the case. So why did I feel like this? And to that end, perhaps he was right to search our souls. Our soul. Well, good news, honey, you don't have one.
Oh boy.
Can I ask you something? What made you start your own detective agency?
なんででしょう
Good question.
なんというか
I suppose you could
親和
say
性
I
が
had the
高かっ
skills
た
for
のか
the
もしれま
job.
せん僕は基本的に
Functionally,
何
I'm
で
a
も屋
jack
さん
of
な
all
んです
trades. I'll do whatever
や
needs
れ
to
と
be
言われれ
done.
ばやるだけですそれこそ僕にと
One
って
could
は
even say it's
果
my
たさな
sworn
ければならない
mission.
使命と言えるでしょう
Ooh. Your mission?
とても重要で
A
あり
mission so
それこそ
important.
私
It
が
gives
生ま
my
れた意味
entire
を
life
問うほどの
purpose.
ものです
Perhaps it's better
使命という
described
よ
as
り
my
は宿
destiny.
命と言った方が正しいかもしれません
Destiny. At this, I thought back over my own life. Thus far, things have been pretty uneventful.
She says while having 5 fiancés.
Yeah. But while those idyllic, is that how you say that word?
I never remember whenever it's presented in front of me. Peachy, help.
Peachy, is this an E, an A, or an I? Idyllic. Okay, cool. But while those idyllic days were something I cherished, part of me mourned the fact that I passed through them without accomplishing much. This all changed once my 5 fiancés entered the picture, however. I think it's really great that you have something worth dedicating your whole life to. Besides, like another man.
I'm honored you feel that way. Makes all my effort worthwhile.
But now that I was being blackmailed, my life had gotten more hectic.
I mean...
Of course, if I simply followed the letter's orders and chose someone to marry, the whole crisis could be averted. Good. Do it. But was that really what I wanted? Really, like... Let's be real here. Like, in real life, she would have just picked someone and went like, ha, you. The fact that she's like dragging it out is like, all the boys are like, why isn't she picked me yet?
Yeah.
Was it right to simply keep chugging along the same tracks, letting someone else pull the switches as they saw fit? She's starting to question her purpose. Abort. 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 Would it lead me to a greater purpose? Absolutely not. But, yeah. Whoa! Tree! Out of nowhere, I tripped over something and lost my balance.
Are you alright?
Before I knew it, the wizard had pulled me into his arms.
I don't mind you getting lost in thought, but I must ask you not to lose track of your surroundings.
Right. Sorry about that. I stammered hastily. I could feel his arms around my waist, and his handsome face was so close to mine. Anyone would have been flustered in my shoes. I can only imagine the smug grin on Cinderella's face if he found out I tripped on the way to college. And the absolute fury that he would have that wizard caught you.
Yeah.
I laughed to distract myself from my embarrassment.
Indeed.
Smiling, the wizard slowly let go of me. Thanks! Wizard. So, what are you doing here? You dumb bitch.
Thank you, please.
Yeah.
Well, you see, I had a few questions I wanted to ask.
Oh, I thought he was going to point out the fact that she asked him to come.
Yeah, it's a bit the whole being bodyguard thing.
Yeah, like, goddamn, girl. At lunch, when I arrived at the courtyard, I found a visitor waiting for me at my usual spot. Damn, he found out where she usually sits immediately. That's insane. He wasn't even hiding. He was eating a sandwich out right in the open. Yeah, because it would be more suspicious if somebody was sneaking around the bushes on a college campus.
Yeah.
It's an open campus, girl. Like, goddamn. Granted, acting casual is usually a good way to avoid looking suspicious. See? But in his case, it wasn't really working.
Well,
Well, hey! If it is old Mr. Wizard, what are you? Wait, I know! You're an undercover investigation! He yells at the top of his lungs.
Wolf, please.
Wolf, no! My lunch buddy Wolf took one look at the wizard and started babbling excitedly.
If I was, then you would have just blown my cover.
Oh no! You two know each other?
Something to that effect.
Yeah, he has me investigate all the girls that he wants to ask out. Mainly this one girl named Reiki Harrison. Yeah! Interesting.
As it happens, I came here to speak to both Wolf and Moshi. What about bodyguarding Rikyun? Like, hello.
You can do that later. Right now, it's
もしかして例の件っすか？
me. Oh, is this about the case?
さ
Correct.
あ、アリス城
I
と
wanted
繋
to
がって
talk
い
to
る
the
君たち
people
にも
closest to Lady
事情聴
Ardusu.
取をと。
Since Roshi isn't here yet,
領
I'll
主が
start
来る
with
前
you,
に
Wolf.
まず君からだ。
Uh-oh.
Oh,
That's a bad... I mean, you know what? Yeah, go.
はーい。
Ready! He raised his hand eagerly.
君はアリス
What
城とどういう
relationship do you have
関
with
係？
Lady Arisu?
Best friend and occasional sidekick. Well, obviously, we're friends. Best friends? It smiled brightly.
まだ何も言ってね
Will you let me finish?
アリス城の友人
You're
で
her best friend, I see.
どこで知り合っ
Where
た
did you
のかな？
first meet her?
え。もちろん学校ですよ。
At
俺
college,
と同
duh.
時期に転
Heard
入
there
し
was
て
a
きた
hot
可愛い
transfer
女
student,
の
so
子
I
が
went
いる
to
って
ask
聞
her
い
out.
て、速
And
攻で
she
ナン
shut
パ
me
して
down.
振られた。
私には好きな
Sorry,
人
I'm
がいる
interested in someone else.
そう、そそう言って断られた。
One second.
Oh dear.
I was eating a chip and a fragment of it went down my throat as I was trying to talk.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that! That was the exact reason she gave.
でもってその後アリス
Then I saw her walking with him one day and I was like,
ところを見て
whoa!
驚いたんすよね。だってそいつ俺の
Because
知
it
り合いだ
turns
ったん
out
だ。
her crush was someone I knew. Red.
それは
And who was that?
あっちゃん。あ、
Blondie!
Akazuki.
I mean, Red Riding Hood.
彼とは
And what relationship do you have with him?
幼なじみ。
We're old friends.
2ヶ
Even if
月
our
くら
old
いしか一
friendship
緒
only
にいなかっ
lasted
たけ
like
ど。
2 months.
I'm just gonna casually add that to a little note that I have of things. Don't mind that.
Yeah, Wolf and Red are constantly friends.
No, I
which
knew
is-
that. I just didn't know it was exactly 2 months.
Oh. Well, when they were kids for 2 months.
Yeah, I know. That's important information for a note that I have.
Okay. Is that why the music cut out all of a sudden?
Because it's important information? Probably. Not because I clicked out of the game.
Oh, okay.
俺さ、
Yeah, I'm not
ここの
keeping
出身
track
じ
of
ゃ
my
ないん
notes
だよね。
that carefully. I'm just like
昔
noticing patterns
体
here.
弱くてさ
I just wrote out notes
療養
because I
も
was
兼ね
having
て
thoughts
ば
when
あ
I
ちゃん
was
がいるこの
editing
田
the
舎町に
video,
しばらくの
so
間
Oh.
住んで
TJ
る
has
ことがあ
access
った
to
ん
the
だ。
notes.
See, I'm not originally from here. But when I was little, I used to be real sickly. So at one point, I came out here to live with my grandma and recuperate. Yeah.
彼とはその時
And you met
知り
him
合ったの
around
かな？
then.
さあさあ。
Yeah,
平
exactly.
日の
He'd
昼間だ
always
って
be
の
sitting
に
at the lake
湖のほと
in
り
the
に
middle
座
of a
り込んでて
weekday.
さ。
So I got
気
curious
に
and
なっ
struck
て
up a
俺から声
conversation
か
with
けたん
him.
だ。で、仲良くなったと思
But
った
right as we got
ら
to be good pals, some stupid stuff
その後
happened.
すぐに
I had
俺
to go
も
back
元
home
の
to my
町に戻らな
parents.
くちゃいけなくなって。
離れ離れ
So you
にな
lost contact with him.
そうっすね。
Pretty much.
それは何
How
年
many
前
years ago was that?
6年前かな。確
Like
か2月
six?
か3
I
月
remember it's around February or March. There you go. There's more notes. So it was exactly 6 years and 2 months ago,
I'm not gonna write that.
approximately.
I'm not gonna be that precise with my notes.
Well then.
Because, like, I have a note that is, like, chronological order of how things happened. This being
Oh.
6 years ago, specifically in February, March, doesn't really affect that.
Yeah, of course.
ちなみに
So,
わざわざ
what brings
この
you
田
here
舎
to the
町に戻ってきた
countryside?
理由は
You're not sick again, are
まさ
you?
か療養のためじゃないよね。
No, he came looking for his best friend.
まさかあの頃と
No
は違う
way!
よ。
As you can see, these days I'm in a lot better shape.
ここに戻ってきたのは
I came
あ
back
っち
here
ゃんとま
because
た会いたかった
I
から
wanted
だ
to see
よ。
Blondie again. That was your whole reason for moving back?
そうだよ。
Yeah!
あ変す
Why? Is it weird?
自分でもよくわかん
I
ねえけ
can't
ど
really explain it, but
すっげえ気
I
にな
just
ったん
couldn't
だ
get him off my mind. Gay, homosexual, gay.
How so?
うんあいつ
Well,
は
whenever we hung
俺と
out,
遊んでる
it's
時
like gets this
た
pained
まに
look on his
すごく苦
face.
しそうにするんだ直前までは普通だったの
He'd
に
be totally normal and then suddenly get all
すごく
scared.
不安そうな
So
顔
I'd
で
ask him,
俺のこと
what's
を見て
wrong? And then he
何
immediately
かあっ
said,
たのかと思って聞いてみるといつもの顔で知らねえって言うし俺も当時はそこまで気
at
に
the
しな
time
かっ
it
た
didn't really bother me, but
5人の兄弟に関
Do you know
して
anything about his
他
family?
に何か知っていることは
さあ一応全員知ってるけど
I know all
特
his
別に仲いい
brothers.
ってわけ
But
じ
I'm
ゃない
like,
し
but I'm not close to them or
喋ったこと
anything.
ないやつ
Some of them I never even talked
白
to,
雪とか
like Snow White.
That's worth noting. Because in some of my other notes, I have like who knows Wolf and who doesn't.
Also, it's weird because like Snow went out to the lake every night too.
Yeah.
I mean, Wolf's not going at night; he's going like midday. But still, like that's interesting.
I'm thinking part of that has to do with it being like maybe.
Well, I guess
different days.
Snow wasn't really active 6 years ago. That was like a more recent thing because that's with like Ryoshi. Because I don't think. Let's just say I don't think Snow was walking around 6 years ago that much outside. And the Snow timeline's weird because it's like we have to figure out when his mom died first, and then from there it's like several months to like years before that he started venturing outside at night.
Yeah, that's like part of why I have like question marks in some of my timeline things, specifically including when Mother dies. Or not exactly when Mother dies, because like what I'm pretty sure is what happened is that Red was out, and that's when Mother died, but then Snow's the one that came back to the house.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Snow got so traumatized that he just kind of stayed in that state for a while.
Yeah, but then eventually went out every now and then meets Ryoshi.
Mhm.
Yeah, anyways.
Yeah, so basically, since you have notes on it, we can basically confirm that it's associative identity disorder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I asked you earlier if you wanted me to confirm or deny.
Oh no, I had a good suspicion as soon as that physician started talking. I'm like, they're very plainly saying this is what we're doing here.
Yeah, I'm so glad that's finally lifted off my shoulders. I can talk about it because there's so much I have to say about it. But
I'm excited.
We can save that for toward the end because, like I said, I have notes written. Anyways.
Well, the thing is, like, we were speculating it beforehand because we were like, what's the point? What was the connection that all these boys have to this world, and more importantly, like, who is designing the world? And it's like,
I mean, something important that happened in like the good end for Snow is the fact that like Snow was still in the dream because the main body was still asleep, Alice.
yeah.
And that's part of why Alice wasn't really in the story at all. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the last event that would have happened is the Snow personality eats the rancid pie and then, conks out.
Yeah.
That has to be the last event that happened. Because it gives none of the other personalities a chance to react to it. Or it gives them a chance to move around after that. If that makes sense.
I don't know. Let's move on.
If we're trying to build like the timeline of events here.
I mean, we could talk about it toward the end of stream. Let's.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway. Blah blah blah, I said this already.
I'm not surprised they're giving his a shut-in.
そうそう
Yeah,
あっ
exactly.
ちゃんにこんな
Real
にたくさん
talk.
兄弟
I had no
がい
idea
るの
Blondie had so many
知らな
dang
かったし
brothers.
実際に会った時は驚い
And
たな
also, like, Alice is blonde.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, him calling him Blondie.
Yeah, because like Red
'Cause,
has
like-
light hair, but not light enough to be called Blondie.
Blondes. Like, platinum blondes, maybe, but, like...
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of... now if they're talking about Alice, a lot of this makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It blew my mind when I first met him! He spoke wistfully with a good smile on his face. Also, this could still be part of the dream, which is why the personalities are their own entities.
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely still a dream. What's happening right
Yeah.
now?
Absolutely.
I'm not sure Wolf would be calling them all brothers still otherwise.
Yeah, he'd be like, oh yeah, I met so-and-so.
Mm-hmm.
基本的に俺はアリスちゃん
Hate
と
to
漁
say
師さん以下
it,
の
for the
情
most
報量
part,
だから
Alice Sue and Mr. Huntsman would know a lot more than I do.
俺はあくまでもサブ
I'm just a side
キャラ
character.
だからさ
You know, I'm only here to help out.
演じる側な
It's
わ
okay.
けですよ
We know that. Wolf.
At least, yeah, we know that. at least he knows his role.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
It's okay. You won't be relevant until the side character. But right as I was starting to think Wolf had handled this pretty awesomely, the wizard dropped a bombshell.
そうですか。
I see.
じゃあ
One last
最後に
question. Are you the
君は
culprit?
犯人ですか？
Yep.
イエス俺が
Oh
犯人
yeah?
です
It's me, baby. And he's gonna immediately backtrack on that statement.
Like, we already suspected Wolf because the cutouts were in a wolf shape, but Jesus Christ, dude.
Wow, Wolf.
Just can't.
Naturally, Wolf played along.
Right.
Oh, yeah, he's a jokester.
じゃあ
Okay then. You're under arrest.
The wizard reached into God knows where and pulled out a pair of giant handcuffs large enough to fit over the sleeves of Wolf's riding hood. Case closed.
あちょ魔法使いさん
What? Mr. Wizard!
連行
Oh,
し
he's
ます。
kinky.
You're coming with me,
通報を
Deputy Arisu. File the report.
Okay, he's joking.
Yeah.
He's joking around. He just needed a prop. Okay.
Good enough.
I cheerfully saluted him.
ちょっと
What? You guys! At my betrayal, Wolf dropped his jokester shtick and started pleading for his innocence. That's why you have to be careful what you say, Wolf. You can't, everything's not just a joke. Feeling bad for the poor guy, I tapped the wizard on the shoulder, but...
うーん
Hmm.
どうしようかな
What to do? What
疑
to
わしきは
do?
罰するとも
Guilty
言うし
until proven innocent, as they say.
罰せずだから
No, they don't! That's backwards! Wolf was getting desperate.
What are you people up to?
Obviously, this is a stage play.
Yeah.
Welcome in, extra. Just then, Ryoshi turned up, same as ever. Hi, Ryoshi.
りょう先生助けて
Mr. Huntsman, save me! Wolf pleaded like he was begging for his life.
Because he is begging for his life.
He is. But Ryoshi merely offered him a passing glance.
You can have him for all I care.
うるさいんで
Maybe a few
2、
days
3
in the
日
slammer
豚
will
箱
shut
に
him
放り
up
込ん
for
でおいても
once.
構わない。
Harsh, but true.
そんな漁師先
What?
生まで
Come on! Not you too, Mr. Huntsman!
で
So,
なんでこ
What
こ
are you
にお前
doing
がいるんだ
Ryoshi ignored Wolf's wails and turned to the wizard.
ちょっと
I had a few questions I wanted to ask.
Likewise, the wizard replied as if nothing was amiss.
I mean, nothing is amiss. Why would he reply otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, Wolf's just in handcuffs, that's
お二
fine.
人さん、お話進めるのでしたら、これ
You
外して
guys,
くれません
you're
か？
gonna just ignore me.
ねえねえ
Can you
外
at
して
least
くれませんか？
uncuff me? Hello? Can you please uncuff me?
うるせえ。
Pipe down,
Nah,
I'll put your ass in
just give me
solitary.
I love that they're just all playing along with this.
Yeah.
We got 4 of the most jokester characters in this entire story, and they basically just did a small scene skit. It's great.
Yes.
はい。
Yes, sir. Once Wolf was shuffled off stage, it was Ryoshi's turn in the spotlight. Just hammering down the fact that it was all an
君
act.
の職業は
So tell me, Ryoshi, what is your current occupation?
Huh?
What?
Ryoshi frowned dubiously. That seemed to intuit the meaning behind his question. Then he seemed to intuit the meaning behind the question.
There you go.
漁師
Blah, 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 blah.
I'm a hunter.
He answered with a stoic expression.
漁師とは
Then what does a
何
hunter
をする
do?
仕事ですか？漁師は漁師
Put simply, a
つまり
healer of
医者
undiagnosed
だ。
neurological trauma
漁
is
師
a
っての
mental
は
health doctor.
名前を引っ
We're
掛
called
け
hunters for
た
short.
だの言葉遊びだ。
Fun fact! His name even means hunter in Japanese.
In case the audience forgot.
ああ、そうだ。
Indeed it
ちなみ
does.
に俺は
For the record,
精神
I
医学を
specialize
専
in
門として
psychiatry and emotional
心
wellness.
を治療するんだ。アリス城との
What's
関
your
係は
relationship to Lady Arisu?
妹だ。
She's my younger sister.
一応
By
血の
birth,
つな
I
がっ
might
たな。
add.
っていうか、
They knew that. Did
今
I
更
know?
だろ。そうだけど、
Yes,
一応
but I wanted to make sure.
なぜ妹
Why
さん
don't
と
you
一
and
緒
your
に暮らせ
sister
るん
live
ですか？
together?
それは
No.
Ryoshi faltered, then looked at me.
5人の兄弟に遠慮
Is that
し
what
て
you want to give her and her fiance some privacy? Or, I feel like I read that wrong. Let me try that again. Is it that you want to give her and her fiance some privacy?
そうだ。
Yeah, that. I'm not convinced, but okay. Hello, welcome on in.
あいつらは
It's complicated.
俺に
I'm
好
on
意的
good
なのも
terms
い
with
れ
some
ば
of them, but others not
敵意
so
を持ってる
much.
のもいたり
I figured the easiest
複雑
option
だか
would
ら
be
な。
to remove myself from the equation.
俺が離れた方が
Like Gretel.
Well,
Gretel
good
hates his
to-
guts.
Yeah.
But being like the newest one of the bunch, she's not been around Ryushi too long, so that makes sense.
Mm.
Oh, that's why he fucking says like, so Gretel, he made a comment like, oh yeah, I'm their brother, but I was born after I came here.
Not necessarily that he was born after he came here, but like he was saying that like he's been there all his life, which didn't make sense.
Yeah, which did make sense, but
Mhm.
like if he was created there, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Any thoughts regarding their premarital cohabitation? Are you gonna say something?
No.
Okay.
節度ある行動
I
を
mean, they're all grown
とでも言え
adults.
ばいいのか？
Most of them.
What do you want me to say? You sound like a pragmatic and an understanding brother.
At this, Ryoshi visibly scowled.
ちなみに
For the
君は
record,
5人の
how
兄弟
much do
に
you know
対
about the five
してどこまで
brothers?
知ってる？全部だ。
All of it.
全部知
I
って
know
る。
everything there is to know.
Because he's their doctor. Let's go.
あいつらの
Their
顔も
past. Their
それぞれのプロフィー
personalities.
ルもな。さすが
And
漁
of
師君
course,
だ。
I forgot who I was talking to.
では、
In that
白雪
case,
さんにつ
how
い
do
て
you
は
feel
どうか
towards
な？
Snow White? When I
先ほど
spoke to Wolf,
狼
he
君に
mentioned
も
that
同
he
じ
didn't
質
know
問を
much
した
about
時に
Snow White
彼は
specifically.
白雪さんだけはよく知らない
Because
と
Snow
言っ
White
て
is
たけど
baby. At the mention of Snow White, Ryushi quirked a brow, but Ryushi would also know the most about Snow White.
Yeah,
ま
I mean,
あそうだ
I'm
ろう
not
な
surprised. Even
俺
I
ももう
haven't
何
seen
年
him
も
in
会って
years
ないく
now.
らいだしな
Interesting.
Yeah, that's
really interesting.
a very interesting one.
Because, like, altars in the system can go dormant.
Yeah, and I wonder if that so then that might mean that Snow isn't the end, or
No.
like the thing that puts Alice in a coma.
Definitely not. I think it might be medically induced.
I think it
this.
is a medically induced coma on Alice's part.
Yeah, because, like, Snow eating the piece of pie, like,
Saying this is the end of Snow White, that's pretty much like where that altar or where that personality ends.
it could have been where he ended up becoming dormant, or at least
Yeah.
not, like, showing himself to others if he fronts at all. But
Yeah.
also, like, in terms of the timeline, like, Snow being out, like, kind of ends before even Kaguya would start.
Yeah, because Kaguya.
Because, like, Kaguya, like, formed during the funeral,
Yes.
but Snow passed out when the body was discovered. So, like, that makes sense that, like, Kaguya was after that
Oh.
happened. And then, of
right,
course...
because they would have the same mother at that point.
Yeah. And then, of course, Snow didn't meet Reikyu yet, so... But we know Gretel formed only after being taken in by the Arisu family, so...
Oh yeah, that's right. So yeah, it would so it had to be. So also it's like the order of the brothers you said was important. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's the order they were formed in.
Mm-hmm.
And Snow was like the second or third, right?
Snow was second.
Snow was 2nd, which
Mhm.
is like, dang.
Yeah. You know what's
I know we
interesting
call-
is Cinderella specifically, because normally, like, it doesn't have to be, but normally there aren't, like, specific events that cause altars to form, especially since Cinderella is presumably the first altar that is formed. It's possible that the wizard was formed even before that, but we don't know. But between these 5, Cinderella was definitely formed first, but there isn't any, like, specific...
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't know where Wizard comes in here because, like,
Yeah, not yet anyway.
they excluded him from the lineup for that conversation, obviously.
Yeah, but I think it's really
it-
important to note, like, who knows who based off of their stories, too.
And
Because,
yeah,
like, Cinderella, as far as we know, doesn't know Huntsman or, Wolf. Like, I guess he might know Huntsman, or at least Huntsman knows of Cinderella, at the very least. Or at least know of each other, but, like, I don't think they've formally
yeah, they
met.
haven't really had like major conversations. They've just had like passing, like, hey, what's up, you know?
They're more of, like, hey, someone else that is in the system is like, this Cinderella exists, type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Cinderella and Ryushi know each other directly. I think they just kind of know each other indirectly through the others.
Which is interesting because Cinderella knows pretty much everyone in the system.
True. Well, he's the first. He has to. He's the big brother of the group.
He doesn't have to.
True, there could be some that are like more hidden away, but like if they're calling themselves brothers, he obviously knows everybody in the brotherhood.
But not all of them know Alice. That's why Alice wasn't always present.
Well, isn't that because like Alice is the original? That's kind of been like broken up between them all.
That's not quite how D&D necessarily works.
Yeah.
Like, it can easily be, like, a piece of the host. It then ends up forming the altar, but otherwise altars can just appear. Like,
Well, it's also like Alice might have gone dormant as the others came into their own too. So he might not know Alice because when he formed, Alice went to sleep basically,
maybe.
and then he's just kind of there. Because like if Alice went through something so traumatic that even he doesn't want to deal with it, he would be like, okay, I'm out, and then like Cinderella came into existence.
It could be, but like we don't know what the event could be, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think we've gotten hints of what that event might be through them, but I also think that your timeline thing works out kind of nice for like, because I think it's just like trauma over the course of all of them existing. Honestly,
Well, yeah, that's how DID works, for better or worse.
because like you said, like Snow had to be the one to find the body.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Kagi was the one at the funeral who just said like, "Yep, I want to forget everything." And then, and then after getting into a loving home, Gretel came to existence.
Yeah.
So it's like, interesting. So I think figuring out the timeline will give us a good idea of what happens. But I think there's also been hints in everybody's story of like what the original source was.
Yeah, I mean, we can break that down, like I said, later, because I do have what I have written down. But anyways.
But yeah, I think figuring out the timeline of when they're active and what events happened is gonna help us out a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, Huntsman.
なぜ会わないんですか
Why is that?
会わないというより
It's not for a lack of
会え
trying.
ないんだよ
I'll say that. He
向こう
refuses
が会
to
うこ
meet
とを
with
拒
me.
否してる
Well, they can't say he's in a coma here because
Yeah.
引きこもりだから
Because he's a shut-in.
Hikikomori, let's go.
初めて会った時は
Although he wasn't quite
今
as
みたいな
reclusive back when I first
引き
met
こもり
him.
じゃなかったけどな白雪さんとは
Where did you
ど
first
こ
meet
でお
him?
知り合いに俺があいつと会った
It
のは
was in the springtime,
6
about
年
6
前の
years
春
back.
だ
I saw him standing around on the lake
夜
shore
の
in the
湖
middle
で
of the
ぼ
night,
ーっと突っ
so I
立って
called
るとこ
out
ろ
to
に
him.
俺から声を
Oh
か
wait,
けた
also 6 years back?
Yeah, which makes sense, but that does give me important information. Because if it was in springtime, that falls
That was,
pretty
like,
much right
March.
after.
Yeah, it'd be like March. It'd be right after Red. Which makes sense, because like Grandma was alive in Red's story.
Well, that was also blatantly like Wolf's grandma, but she never died.
Oh yeah, fuck, you're right.
Yeah.
Shit. Forgot it was Wolf's grandma, fuck.
But yeah, that does in fact confirm that Red met Wolf before Snow met Ryoshi, which is information that is good to have.
Yeah.
白雪さんといえば
Speaking of Snow White,
お母さ
I
んの
understand
死
he
に際を
discovered his
目
mother's
撃したそうです
corpse.
ね
Yep,
Yep.
ああそうだ
yes, that's correct.
でも
But it's worse
あ
than
れは
that.
そんな生優し
Oh,
いも
we
んじゃない
know. We know.
あいつは
He was living with his
母親
mother's
の死体と一
corpse.
緒に暮らしてたんだよあいつが引きこも
And
った
that's
の
what
は
turned
そ
him
のせい
into
だ
the shut-in.
Heavy silence dominated the air. Also, I get the feeling that like Cinderella's kind of a clean freak.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. No one said a word. Then finally, Ryoshi asked.
で犯人は
So,
見つかったのか
Did you figure out the culprit?
Nope, was it you?
いや
No, not yet. Thus far. I've
一応
spoken
彼
with
女の
each of
婚
the
約者
five
である5人
brothers.
の兄弟からいろいろ話を聞いてみたわけですが
And also, I think. So, you want to hear my thoughts on Wizard?
Yeah.
I don't think Wizard was here the whole time. I think he was a personality formed in that cutscene that we saw earlier with the physician, where he's like, you're the strongest of all the personalities, you need to guide the other ones to their natural conclusion. You know, like, you must eradicate all the other ones if you want to exist. That guy, fuck that guy.
Maybe. Because he definitely was talking to Alice first, and like one thing that he said specifically was him being perfect, which is what his mom saw him as too.
Yeah.
But the wizard could have formed there. That is a good point.
Yeah, I think the wizard was created to, like, guide the other ones, you know? Guide the other guys to be like, hey, we're all part of the system. We're all most of us are going to be wiped out because that's what the doctor says is the proper treatment. Which, fuck that guy.
That is a possibility, because, like, the only thing that I've really pinned for the wizard and his role in the system is that he's definitely the gatekeeper, which that role in a system, like, can more or less manage who's in front.
Yeah.
So.
Which would make sense if he's the stronger personality out of all of them.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's definitely not Alice leading the bunch here. Alice is just kind of, like, off in his own world of darkness.
Yeah, but, like, something that is worth noting is that whenever the wizard isn't present, Alice is instead. For the other stories.
And then there's, like, brief moments where they cohabitate, like, in Snow Story.
Yeah.
But it's more like him saying, like, hey, what's your purpose here? Like, Alice is asking the wizard, like, hey, what's your purpose here? Like, what are you doing?
I guess that's another thing worth noting, like, who had the wizard, like, actively in their story. I mean...
also, I think it's funny, because we saw a lot of Alice, like, chapter 1. Like, you know, first 2 stories. And, like, Cinderella's just like, oh yeah, Alice, he's just the guy that lives upstairs.
Yeah, because, like, Cinderella definitely is the most aware of Alice existing.
Yes, he is the most aware of Alice existing. That was kind of my point. Who was also... Red Riding Hood was episode 1, right?
Yeah, Red wasn't in Cinderella's story.
Yeah, Red wasn't in Cinderella's story, and Red also didn't interact with Alice. I actually forget if Alice actually showed up in that story or not.
I don't think Alice ever showed up outside of, like, prologue stuff.
But it also explains why, like, all these side characters either pop in or out of stories. It depends on who knows them.
Yeah, of course.
So, like, we talked about with Wolf and Red Riding Hood, how they know each other, but, like, Wolf only shows up for, like, Red Riding Hood and Gretel.
Yeah.
And then we have Ryushi that shows up for basically all of them. Except for Cinderella, maybe. Because I think the quote-unquote brother-servant role was handled by Kaguya in Cinderella's story, if I remember correctly.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
So, like, in Cinderella's story, Ryushi's not there. It's more of Kaguya that takes the supportive role in that story.
Yeah. A little bit. He wasn't super active in it, though.
Yeah. You know, there's some distance between Cinderella and Kaguya, but, like, it seems like they at least have passing awareness of each other.
Yeah. Like I said, Cinderella definitely is aware of everyone, because everyone was there except for Roshi and Wolf.
Yeah.
Like, even Alice had an active part, which is interesting.
Yeah, so Cinderella knows everybody. No shocker there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the wizard glanced my way.
Anything stand out to you?
Trauma.
They all seem suspicious, but at the same time, they all seem innocent too. That's all I can say for now. In other words, no, I haven't found anything yet.
I mean, to be fair, it'd be more suspicious if you found somebody who's like, oh yeah, that guy completely innocent.
Yeah.
Because then it's like he's putting on an act.
Mm-hmm.
He shrugged with a smile.
These things take time, I guess.
Ryoshi let out a long sigh, then walked up to me and put his hand on my head.
Try not to get yourself killed, alright?
Wow.
I mean...
Also, what are they gonna do for the side story if this is how, like, the main story is going around? Like, damn.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested by that, but I'm also, like... Because, like, also Ryoshi and Wolf are dateable. So, like, I'm...
And they're like, outside of the system. Like...
Yeah.
Canonly. So it's like, huh.
It'll be interesting.
Ugh. Yoshi, you jerk. On the way home, I thought back to my brother's attitude and raged quietly while the wizard laughed at me. Let's go, wizard! This isn't funny, you know.
But it is.
But it is. I pouted my lips. Aw, now it's adorable.
君のお兄さんも
You know he does worry
君を
about
心配
you,
していな
right?
いわけではないですよ。
Yes, I know. We had spent our whole lives living separately, so we weren't exactly close, but I knew he was a caring person. After all, he had been looking after the 5 brothers since way before I showed up. This reminded me of the question I've been meaning to ask the wizard since this afternoon. So, a pretty small world we live in, huh?
Yeah.
I knew you and Ryoshi were acquainted, but Wolf too? Nobody told me about this. And it is also interesting that the wizard knows Wolf and Ryoshi, but that might just because he's a more prominent personality than the others.
Yeah.
I was, of course, indirectly complaining that he kept this all from me, aka his client. He doesn't have to tell you shit.
True.
Let's be real here.
I will point out that Red also knew both Ryoshi and Wolf.
そうですね。
You're right.
まる
It
で
almost feels
この
as though
世
we're
界
the
に
only
は
people in the whole
限られた
world.
人間しかいないみた
No,
い
that was Snow's. I mean, he replied casually without batting a lash. It felt like he was being evasive on purpose. I couldn't be sure.
He is the wizard.
He is the
でも
wizard.
これで彼ら
That
の
being
人間
said,
関係
I
が
now have
見
a
えてき
firm
ましたね
understanding of their interpersonal connections.
狼くんと赤ずきんさん
Wolf and Red Riding
漁師
Hood,
くんと
Yoshi
白
and
雪さん
Snow
は
White.
それ
These
ぞ
two
れ
pairs
人
seem
間
very
浅からの
close.
仲のような
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I nodded along, trying to keep up. Yep. It seems like Red and Snow White made friends with Wolf and Ryoshi right around the same time, too. Wolf mentioned February or March, and Ryoshi said springtime.
6年前のお
And both
話だ
took
そうで
place
す
6
ね
years ago.
彼らは同じよう
In
に
both cases, the brothers
湖
were
を
gazing
眺め
out
てい
at
た
the
そうで
lake.
すが
I wonder what brought
一
them
体
there.
何をしていたんでしょうか
Habit. Beats me.
行ってみますか
Shall we take a trip out there?
Right now? Frankly, now that we were almost home, I really didn't have to turn around and head back. Oh, I really didn't want to have to turn around and head back again.
That's fair.
Do it, you beat. But once we arrived at home, we'd have to give the brothers a status update. Going to Lake actually sounded like the less annoying option.
Also fair.
True. Let's see. You know, I never knew the lakes had waves. I mused as we gazed out of the rippling water. Blah, 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 blah. Until I moved here, that is. I always pictured lakes as these perfectly still mirrors. The surface glittered beneath the rays of the faint winter sun. Winter. Game says winter. I look in the background, I see fall.
I was thinking early spring, but
It could be early spring. Anyway, yet there was no reflection to be seen.
湖の波は
supposedly the waves are
水面
created
が
by
風
friction
に煽ら
between
れ
the
てできた
surface
さ
water
ざ
and
波
the
が
wind.
遠くまで電
We
波して
learned
大
that
きく
from
なったもの
Snow,
ですね
right?
I don't remember.
It was either Snow or Kaguya, one of the two.
Someone.
Not much different from the ocean then. Well, ocean also has water current, but yes, not much different. I thought back to the days before I lived here. Back then, whenever I saw the ocean, I longed to travel beyond the furthest reaches of the horizon.
ですが
No. Like it's
湖
not
は
the same as
湖
an
であって
ocean.
海ではありません 海のように世
The
界
lake
と
will
つな
not
がっ
lead you
て
to distant lands.
遠い遠い国には行けません。
Okay, that's definitely from Snow's route. I stared at him blankly. Not only did it feel like he had read my mind, but on top of that, he disagreed. People have different opinions? How dare they? Sensing my gaze, he snickered.
At least,
彼らは
that's what I
思っていた
imagine they
のか
were
もしれま
thinking
せ
at
ん
the
ね。
time.
What?
白雪さ
I'm
んと
talking about Snow
赤ず
White
きん
and
さん
Red
の
Riding
ことです
Hood.
Oh! They wanted to travel abroad?
はい。
Yes.
それが
Though
逃
whether
避
they
な
were
のか
yearning for
憧
an
れなの
escape
か
or merely curious,
それと
I
も
cannot
好奇心
say.
なのかは別として
I think you can say, because you know a lot more than you're letting on, Wizard, but I digress.
Hell yeah. Good question. I looked back at the lake and thought of the brothers. There were 5 of them. If they were looking for an escape, they must have really hated their lives here.
Can't imagine why.
Have you ever wanted to leave the country?
僕は思ったことは
I haven't.
ありません。
Not even as a criminal? How come?
では
Well,
逆にお
let
聞
me
きしま
ask
す
you.
が
Do you
今
wish you could
君
travel
は
to
どこ
another
か遠い
country?
国に行きたいと
Well,
思います
only if
か
I can pull off that bank heist. Not right now. Maybe
それ
later.
はなぜ
And why is that?
I just told you, the bank heist. Well... Before I could answer, I pressed a finger to my lips.
僕と君の気持ち
Our
は同
feelings
じ
are
です
one
よ
and the same. Almost as if we share the same heart.
一つの心のようにね
Here's a question we haven't considered. Is Reikyu another personality?
I don't think so, but I don't know for sure.
Wait. Fuck, wait. No, Ryushi wouldn't say sister by birth. Like
Yeah.
if we're assuming that Alice is the one with all these personalities,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't make sense for Ryoshi to say like sister by birth unless Alice is another personality of Reikyu, which no, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, Reikyu herself is very consistent, so that would be a little odd. Yeah, exactly.
Also, from a story writing standpoint, it wouldn't make much sense to do that.
It made sense in Snow's case, but that's because like the whole thing was like a dream world, and like Reiki was a reflection of Snow's heart, blah blah blah. But like outside of that story, doesn't make sense.
I mean, I feel like all of these routes have been in a dream world.
But like Snow is the one that said like, "Hey, there's an outside force here, which is Reiki,
Yes.
trying to connect to this world."
Which would it be possible if she was an alter?
Yes, exactly. He moved away from me and walked towards the water.
Push him in.
そういえば
Yes.
君が
Come to
鏡
think
の
of
国に
it,
やってきたのは
when
い
did
つで
you
したっ
first
け
arrive here in the Looking Glass world?
6 years ago. A year and a half ago. I answered, gazing at his back.
では
And
そ
that
の
was
時
when
に
you first
彼ら
met
と
the
出会
five
ったんです
brothers?
ね
Yeah.
それまではどこに
Where were you before then?
In the outside world. I mean, I lived in a different country.
君が
What
鏡の
brought you
国に
here?
やってきた理由は
The boys. That's what brought us here. Well, I wanted to see him.
誰
Which one?
It's good that so that's actually very telling of Reiki. So like again, they're just more foreshadowing that all these brothers are one person
Yep.
or like one system.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Dun dun dun.
But she's been in the fantasy for too long that she's just like, oh yeah, whatever. You know,
Mhm.
there's 5 of them. I dreamed of you again last night. Now and then I would gaze into the mirror. Unlike the real world, the mirror world showed me everything, even the parts I didn't want to see. I knew if I reached out, I could pass through to the other side. Alice. But the milk in the mirror looked revolting, so I wasn't motivated to try. The milk. In the mirror world, that same doctor called to me dozens of times. The physician or Ryoshi. I'd figured out what he wanted, what he expected of me. After I stubbornly refused to perform, he must have given up.
It's no use. This project is a failure.
And with that, he discarded me, which is when Ryoshi comes into the picture.
Yeah.
He seemed angry with me for being a brat. Definitely Alice. After that, he paid me less and less attention until eventually he stopped coming by entirely. Gazing into the mirror, I thought about his comments. Oh. Defective. Oh. Botched. Oh. He wanted perfection. Oh, was he trying to create, like, the perfect personality to, like, take over?
Maybe.
But what is perfection? To be visibly smarter, more sociable, more athletic, more dexterous than the average person? Here we go. Visibly smarter. Would you say that's like Snow?
I guess.
More sociable, Cinderella.
Yeah.
More athletic, Red. More dexterous? I could see either... You know what, dexterous? I would say Gretel, because he cooks. To play the role other people would expect of you, in other words? In that case, I didn't need an identity of my own. Alice. Take it one step further. If no one needed me, then my entire existence was unnecessary. Out of nowhere, something seized me by the lake, threatening to pull me down into its inky depths. I ran blindly through the dark. I knew the meaning of this darkness. Also, Alice knows, like, what the darkness does.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yes, this is definitely, like, his perspective from here. And I knew if I let it consume me, it would cease to exist. It felt like someone was saying, if you won't behave, then I'll lock you in the looking glass house.
Gretel.
Gretel. It reminded me of a time not that long ago when someone said something similar to me. I couldn't meet their expectations, Gretel. And so I was discarded and eradicated. Well, I don't think we killed Gretel, but we definitely set a house on fire. Lord Lamau. Something jostled me awake. Where am I? Next thing I knew, I was in a bed, resting him against someone's chest. My pulse was racing. I was breathing so hard it felt like I'd just run a whole marathon. In order to get a grasp of the situation, I opened my eyes.
Wizord.
アリス嬢
Good morning, Lady Arisu.
Peachy, come get your food. Feeling his breath against my veins, I let out a shriek. And I slowly looked up to find a pair of amber eyes looking back at me. Mr. Wizard? My heart pounded even faster. They somehow got home.
Yeah.
Was I still dreaming? Or was I really cuddled up in bed with the wizard? Well, they don't call him the wizard for nothing. I mean, suffice to say, suffice. What is this word? Suffice it to say, it's a very romantic position to be in. What the fuck is that word?
You know, suffice.
I've heard of it before. I don't think I've seen it spelt out too many times.
That's fair. It'd be that way sometimes with words.
Because I think there's just so many words that you could use besides suffice, you know?
Maybe.
But I had only met him a few days ago. Our relationship was strictly professional. Professionals have standards. I had no recollection of even taking things to the next level, so to speak. You're still wearing your clothes. Chill out, girl. Surely this had to be a dream then.
I mean, it is, but not because of that.
Yeah. But if this was the dream, what about the other dream? Is that real life? As I writhed in confusion, the wizard regarded me calmly. Me too, girl. I constantly wake up with a state of confusion.
Did you have a nightmare? Your complexion is rather pale.
Well, we have the CG for the next thumbnail.
Yep.
His arm shifted slightly beneath me as he reached up to stroke my hair. Absolutely not. Do not smack that head away, Saku. I will fight you.
But it would be funny.
It would be funny, but don't do it. Or if you're
Fine.
gonna do it, let's reload the save.
We'll see what happens. If we need to reload this or not in the future, if we're
We
getting the good
can
end.
always come back, like right at the end of stream.
Yeah.
Come back, smack his hand away.
That would be funny.
You're getting head pats. It's your favorite thing.
I'm giving the head pats. I voiced the wizard. Get it straight.
Well, fine. Fair is fair then. 1 second.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
I was gonna say long second.
To be fair, I just looked through all the redeems real quick, and I read a lot of them.
Fair.
So, head pats. His peaceful smile and soft touch gradually put me at ease. I felt it was safe to trust him, just as I had the day we first met.
君は逃げないんだね。
I noticed you haven't pulled away. Aren't you frightened?
By what?
Ghosts and...
The ghost of wizards past?
Maybe.
Huh?
いいえ、
Nothing.
なんでも
Don't
ありま
worry
せん。
about it.
Watch the wizard be like the darkness that pulls all the personalities into it and erases them.
Could be. He did kill
Could be.
Reiki multiple
We
times.
don't know. Because they made that comment more than once that the wizard has like a darkness to him.
Yeah, he is the darkness.
He is the darkness. A short while later, I was finally calm enough to ask him my burning question. So, what are you doing here? At this, the wizard smiled brightly.
君が僕を
You wouldn't
離
let
さな
go
かっ
of
た
me.
からですよ。
Oh, she fell asleep at the lake, and wizard carried her the entire way here.
Cute.
Kill. Oh. That's when I realized I was clinging to his shirt.
That you are, sweetie.
I'm so sorry. Hastily, I let go.
別に謝る必要はあ
Nothing
り
to
ません。
apologize for. It's nice to
頼られ
feel
るのは
needed
嫌い
after
じゃあ
all.
りませんから。
He'll be sending you the dry cleaning bill. He'll add it to your tab. Heat flashed through my body. Extrapolating from this conversation, he must have been stuck here the whole time I was asleep, That's when you take a nap of your own.
Yeah, he probably did.
He probably did. He just woke up first.
Mm-hmm.
For that matter, I couldn't even remember when we got back. And yet, here I was in bed, and in my PJs too. Whoa! At the rate we were headed, we might come under fire for some unscrupulous behavior. Yet somehow he didn't look panicked in the least.
I mean, he's the wizard.
I was gonna say, wait. Okay, just because she doesn't remember how they got back doesn't mean that, like, she was unconscious the whole time.
Yeah.
I felt so pathetic. Getting flustered when he clearly wasn't infuriated me, even though it wasn't his fault. Confusion. Despite having only just let go, I grabbed his shirt again. What is this, silk? He showed no signs of resisting. Instead, he continued to look at me, his expression unchanged. Then I realized something. He wasn't wearing his jacket. I was. It was unmistakably a kind gesture on his part. I kept getting these little glimpses of his personality that I didn't quite understand. And possibly because of that... Smack. I had a dream. Dream where I was about to be killed. Oh no, that's the reality. The next thing I knew, I was telling him about my dream. Hearing the tension in my voice, his smile faded. In the dream, I was desperately trying to run away from something. It was pitch black, and I couldn't see, and I was terrified. Then something grabbed my leg, and I fell. The darkness crawled up my body, engulfing me. Then my mind started to fade. I started to forget, almost like I was being erased.
And that does sound frightening.
Yeah.
The blackmail letter must be stressing. The blackmail letter must be stressing you out. Let's bring someone in here. They'll help you feel better. Who should I get?
He gently took me by my... I'm gonna start over. He gently took me by the arm and sat me upright. I want you.
Okay.
So get me Cinderella. The second I realized he was going to leave, I automatically stopped him. The wizard paused for a moment.
Are you really that opposed to choosing one person? Very well. As you wish, I shall stay by your side.
With a self-deprecating smile, he got back in bed.
Oh.
Still warm.
What if Wizard sent the letter and he'll eradicate whoever she doesn't pick?
No, I think the opposite. Oh yeah, no, you're right. He's gonna eradicate whoever she doesn't pick, because that's as well as that personality, as the darkness.
As the darkness.
He's like, hey, we need you to pick someone, because some crack job physician said so.
Yeah.
So when you do that, we're gonna just murk the other guys. No, I think the writer just likes using that phrase.
It's a good phrase.
It's a good phrase. Thank you. I felt so relieved. And the fact I felt this way made me hate myself. Here I was, sharing a bed with someone else, pouring my heart out to him, all behind my fiance's back. My fiance's. back. It felt like I was cheating on the men who loved me. Anyway, as I was saying, I always thought I wasn't afraid to die.
なぜ
Why's that?
I don't know. I'm not suicidal. My life isn't miserable. I'm not spiritually enlightened or anything like that. But I've always been the kind of girl who would do almost anything to achieve her goals. So maybe I'm just prepared to die for my mission. What was it you said again? A mission's so important, it gives your entire life purpose. Or destiny. I still think he's the darkness.
I mean,
Because, like, he's all about, like, this whole purpose is what gives my life meaning. His goal is to get rid of any unnecessary personalities.
yep.
And yet, when I was about to disappear, I resisted.
Perhaps you didn't want to die without first achieving your goal.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe I felt sorry for myself. Do you think maybe, deep down, I'm afraid of death? From there, the wizard explained that I had passed out at the lake. Naturally, the fiancés were very worried. They had been taking turns checking on me. Part of me wished he had told me sooner, but I was the one who stopped him and changed the subject, so it wasn't really his fault. I just imagine he's just like laying in bed. Cinderella comes in, it's just like, "Hey, you doing anything?" And he just like gives him like a small wave.
Yeah.
When I walked into the living room, the five brothers all called for me at once.
姉さん起きて
Sister,
大丈夫なんですか
Are you sure you should be out of bed right now? In a blink, I was surrounded on all sides and peppered with questions about my current condition. Wizard's gonna ignore everyone, just be like, yes. I'm okay now. Thanks for looking out for me. Actually, I'm gonna comment on that observation you made earlier. I think you're right. I think Wizard did send the letter.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, if his whole goal as, like, the darkness is to eradicate unnecessary personalities, his goal would be, like, hey, which one of these personalities is the one that you want?
Yeah, and throughout the entire investigation, he, like, keeps saying, it's like, you could just pick someone and end this.
Yeah, you could just pick someone and end this, which is, you know... But as we know, ending it would mean that everybody else of these five, including Wizard himself, disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And then that includes also Alice.
Yep.
If we're gonna go with their theory that Alice is also part of this system. I didn't really have a good way to say his role because we really
host.
don't know his role right now.
He's most likely the host, so I feel like it's safe to say that.
Yeah, I feel like he is the host too. And it also goes back to like what that dream was saying, like, oh, if I'm not perfect, what would the perfect version of me look like? What
Yeah.
perfect personality can I craft? And then I could just be like, cool, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can have him instead.
Yep.
I smiled reassuringly at each of them in turn. This episode is just gonna be a lot of theory crafting, isn't it?
Yep, and a lot of discussion about DID, so if you did not know much about DID, you're learning a lot tonight.
Yep, or at least the basics, so you can go do your own research
Yep.
from credible sources that back up their facts with other sources that are also credible, please.
Because it's definitely incredibly researched at this point, and it's totally not super stigmatized.
Oh, it is.
Anyways,
Yeah.
do you already smile at them, each in turn?
1 second. E E E. Just had to go down the line. Oh yeah, that movie's terrible.
Yeah, don't watch that.
Don't watch that movie. That movie's straight up terrible. Then once they were sure I was alright, their attention turned to the wizard.
おいあんた
Hey, you. You didn't try
別
anything
に
funny
変
with
な
her,
こと
did
して
you?
ねえだろうな
Maybe
No,
some
you
magic
saw him
tricks.
thumbs up, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a completely trustworthy gesture.
変な
Such as?
それは
You, no.
The sideways limbo.
寝ている姉さんを組み敷いてタイツを脱がせるという
Did you pin her down on the bed and tell her you were
ス
gonna
カートの
take
中
her?
に遠慮なく手を突っ込んだりす
One
ることですよ
I realized I had to get back into the mindset of crazy talk here. 1 second. Did you pin her down on the bed and tell her you were gonna take her tights off as an excuse to put your hand under her skirt like I did? Fuck Gretel,
落
man.
ち着け
Calm down, Gretel. Red's out. Rest in peace, Red.
Well, that's one now.
Yep.
ほら見ろ
Now look what you've done. Red's passed out on the damn floor. He's also blushing, which is kind of funny.
Split is the one about the serial killer, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Don't watch it. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun cinema to watch, but like, if you're watching it to learn about
むやみ
DID,
やたらにがっ
don't.
ついたりしませんよ
When it comes to women, I'm not quite as tactless as you are, I'm afraid.
な
What? I was somewhat stunned to find them all carry on like usual. Not that I wanted them to be at each other's throats, mind you, but I did feel a little silly for getting so worried.
Fair.
As I stood there watching their shenanigans, Kakuya whispered in my ear,
あんな
Hey baby, you free
みん
tonight?
なあれでもヒーさんのこと気使うとるんやで
To be clear, they're trying to play it off, but you should have seen them last night.
ほんまは昨日のこと
Of
ヒー
course
さ
we
んや
want
魔法
answers
使い
from
さん
the
に
two of
問い
you.
ただしたいんやけど
That put my puppet in a
そうす
tight
ると
spot.
ヒー
ain't
さん
it?
が困るやろ
Kaguya knowing more about relationships than all the other ones.
Yep.
He knows there's something going on. He's just like, yeah, it's fine if she's happy, you know? Oh, I see. My mood quickly plummeted. They were all a lot more responsible and caring than I gave them credit for, which is why this is gonna make this even harder to decide.
ヒーさん疲れて
Oh
る
no, they're all.
まだ
How,
横になっていた
how are
方が
they
ええ
all
んちゃう
respectful and hot? Except for Gretel.
Yeah.
Are you tired, Poppet? Perhaps you ought to go have a lie down. Yeah, maybe. As I spoke, my eyes were on Cinderella and Gretel as they ripped into the wizard. Not physically. Yet. Mr. Wizard?
はい
Yes.
Would you come with me? Instantly, all eyes widened and all jaws dropped in perfect sync.
Are you trying to get the wizard mauled or something, Q? Come on.
I'm not gonna say it because it's a terrible thing to say, but there's gonna be a murder in those woods, and Gretel's gonna be behind it again.
Yeah.
And so I led the wizard back to my bedroom. Okay, she is deliberately trying to get this man killed.
Yeah, damn. Sheesh.
They're so angry.
いいんですか
Are you sure we should be alone together right now?
I am your client, you know.
Not in that way.
Yeah, no. I don't think his office is in the red light district.
I know, but I feel bad for your finances.
Fiancés.
Right, that too.
I mean, he's charging by the hour, so. finances are probably fucked too.
Die here, don't mind me. Just read that.
Look, I am a yes and person. You give me a pitch, I'll swing. The wizard's sympathy was all directed at them, never me.
I wonder why.
Because you're outside the system, bitch. I knew I was in the wrong, but I didn't expect him to take my side every time. I knew I was in the wrong, and I didn't expect him to take my side every time, but I really hated feeling judged. I paused for a moment. Are you uncomfortable being around me? I looked at him. Fuck, that word, man.
Coquettishly is my best guess. What it means, no idea.
I am going to I'm gonna Google this right now, because fuck this word. What is...
I think
Who
it's
came up
oui,
with this
oui.
word?
The French, probably.
I
win, wow.
Oh wait, you got it?
Yeah, coquettishly.
Coquettishly.
En
Google
français,
Translate.
oui, oui, baguette.
In a way that is intended to be sexually attractive, but is not very serious.
Interesting.
Synonym flirtatiously. Okay.
Amazing.
I looked at him sexily. I mean, coquettishly.
Yeah.
No, not really. My voice cracked, wow. That wasn't very helpful. I'm not gonna redo that line.
Then what does it matter? I enjoyed spending time with you. I sat down on the bed and smiled. I knew I wasn't playing fair, but if we get him on my side, then to hell with the rules. Why do you need him on your side?
Cause, I don't know.
He's just having fun. Let's be real here. He smiled dryly, like he'd seen right through me. Meanwhile, I glanced around restlessly. Then I noticed something. A knife! Wait, what? I had left my chessboard sitting on the coffee table, but the pieces had moved since the last time I touched it. Oh, did he move them?
Maybe.
He might have been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start a game of like long distance chess. You ever like do that like where you set up a board game and then like throughout the day you just check it occasionally if somebody made a move, you make another move?
No, because I'm not insane.
It's really fun.
It does sound fun, but also sounds like every cartoon villain ever.
Well, it's more like if you have like two people living in the same house, you just set up a board and it's like, okay, we're gonna make moves at random times, but we're gonna adhere to the rules of the game. So throughout the day, we're just gonna keep checking this chessboard, and eventually we'll get through a game.
Okay, well, Spooky, you know what to do. Get out the glass chessboard. We gotta start doing this shit.
It's really fun because it's like, because when you sit down and play a board game with someone, you can see like their reactions. You can kind of guess like what they're gonna do. You can kind of see like them thinking about their moves. It's really interesting when you just like both not at the table and you just come by and make moves. Because now you just have to play like more mind games.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's like correspondent chess. You know how like people play chess by writing their moves to the mail and mailing them to each other?
I've never heard of that before.
I mean, everybody knows the rules of chess. You can do it. It's really fun.
I hope those people moved on to chess.com.
I bet they did. Did you move my chess pieces? I pointed over at the board.
君が眠っている
I
間
got bored while you were asleep.
暇だったので
Whoa! I didn't realize you knew how to play chess. I feel like most people do.
I was gonna say, like, who doesn't?
It's a very simple game.
Yeah.
Once you know how the pieces move, you're just like, okay, we understand how this game works now. I rose to my feet and walked over to get a better look at the board. The white rooks are at G1 and E1. A white knight was at G3. A white pawn was at F4. And the white king was at G8. Oh, don't tell me this loser played against himself. The black rooks were at D7 and H7. The black queen was at f6, a black knight was at g6, and a black pawn was at f5. Oh, this is a chess problem, isn't it? Chess problems, puzzles in which the goal is to achieve checkmate under preset conditions. I've played a lot of mini games like this in RPGs. They're fun, but boy can they slow the game down if you don't know what to do.
Oh boy.
I grabbed the white knight and captured a black rook. For what it's worth, I consider myself pretty good at chess. Then I spun around and beamed confidently. Wanna play a match with me? Girl about to get her ass kicked. At my challenge, the wizard smirked deviously.
いいですよ。
I don't mind,
気
but I
分が
hope you're
悪くなって
prepared
も
to
知りませ
lose.
んが。
Let's go. I would love it if Reiki won, and then Wizard just like starts freaking out, trying to figure out how to beat her. We each set up our pieces, white for me and black for him.
6
Again,
年前、
if he's the darkness, of course he's using the black pieces.
2人のご兄弟がそれぞれ
6
別の
years
人
ago,
物に出
two
会
of
っ
the
て、
five brothers met someone new under near identical circumstances.
赤ずきんさんは王
Red Riding Hood met Wolf, and Snow White met
白
Mushi.
雪さん。
As he spoke, the wizard moved his pieces. 6 years ago, Snow White would have been 13, and Red Riding Hood would have been 15, right? Hearing this, it suddenly felt very weird that Snow White was the second son despite being younger than her. That's what we're talking about!
Yeah, I said that since the fucking beginning.
Damn! Girly putting the pieces together. Yoshi was 23 at the time, and Wolf is the same age as me, so he would have been 13 too. I moved my pieces as I spoke.
ずいぶん年
It
が
was quite
離
the
れてるん
age
ですね。
gap.
Yeah, no kidding. There was something I noticed too. Not the age gap between Ryoshi and Snow White, but the gap between Wolf and Red. The way they talk about their friendship, you would think they're the same age, but Red was already old enough to be in high school by that point. Then again, Wolf was a chatty, sociable guy, so maybe the age difference didn't even register with him. Or he was interacting with someone who looked like they were his age.
Yep.
もう一つ重要な
You're
ことを
forgetting
忘
one
れてい
other
ますよ
thing.。
Huh?
兄弟のお母様
Their
が
mother
亡くなら
passed
れ
away
たの
that
は
same spring 6
6
years
年前
ago.
の春だ。
What a coincidence. Oh. I looked up from the board. When our eyes met, the wizard smirked at me. A lot must have happened that year.
You
Huh.
don't say, Riku, you don't fucking say.
I don't think Girly put the pieces together yet. I averted my gaze bashfully. But yeah, it seems like Wizard's Root, they're like planting all of the things for us to for the audience to figure it out. He adopted his usual pose, crossing his legs and resting his chin on his right hand. Pets wizard, pets wizard, pets wizard.
そうですね。
Yes. Perhaps it was a significant
Nanika
time in their lives. You know, losing their mom and all that. Yeah.
That would do it. And one move later, checkmate.
チェックメイト。
Haha, yes!
Checkmate.
The wizard declared loftily. Ah! I looked back at the board to find his queen checking my king. It's checkmate. You can't do anything. You are stuck. Check is if you can still make moves.
Yeah.
I lost?
言ったでしょ
I told you at the
気分
start
が
to be
悪くなっ
prepared
て
to
も知りま
lose,
せん
did I
よ
not?
と
Believe it or not, I'm
僕
quite good at
こう見えて
chess.
得意なんです。チェック。
Rematch! I demand a rematch! Just like that, he had provoked my Sighed.
そう
For
言っ
a
て
minute, I
勝
thought I
つま
said
でや
for
るんでしょ
Voltron. I was like, and then I
Nah.
hung up on my brain on that. I was like, wait a minute.
I was wondering what happened there. Knowing you, you'll want to keep playing until you win, won't you?
If she says Soratori, okay, cool. Sounds like you know me well. Believe it or not, I'm a sore loser.
Shocker.
Wow.
知ってるよ
Yeah, I know.
Get used to that response if you date this fucker. What? Stunned, I blinked at him. He sighed.
いいですよ
Fine. We can
君
play
が
as many
満足
times
する
as
ま
it
で
takes to satisfy
何度で
you.
も勝負しましょ
Gonna be there all day, all week.
Damn, he's got the endurance to keep going. I mean,
Someone
what?
clip that, please.
Prototype of VM with multiple routes, a sore loser? Never. Really slow. Okay then.
うただし今は
But not
ダメ
right
です
now, lest you forget.
君
Your
は
life is
命
in
を狙われ
danger.
ているんですから
First, we must
ま
solve
ずは
the
それを解
case.
決してからにしましょう
I slumped my shoulders. Couldn't argue with that. You want to know a fun quirk of mine?
What?
So I have a really hard time saying shoulders, and sometimes I will say soldiers instead.
That's funny.
I came up so often in the Rune Factory 3 playthrough I'm doing. I'm just like, why brain work? It's English.
Oh dear.
All right then. In that case, I expect a rematch as soon as this case is solved.
え
Certainly.
もちろん
So anytime you see shoulders and I say soldiers, that's what's going on.
I will probably forget, but noted.
It's fine. You'll call me out on it. It's funny. With that settled, we wasted no time heading straight for Snow White's room. That pigsty. Knees and toes, knees and toes. Today we want to discuss his mother.
Dun dun dun.
The one that he definitely thinks is still alive. Snow White.
アリス、
Hey, Arisu.
どうしたの？
What's up?
Tell us about your mom. Okay, yeah, she's just immediately going for it. Sorry to spring this on you, but could we ask about your mom? At this, Snow White scowled openly. No surprise there, of course. After all, asking Snow White about his mom meant dredging up his least favorite memories. You don't know, there might be worse memories. Because of that, honestly, I expected him to stand there in silence, or to tell us to go away. But instead, he reacted in a way that I wasn't expecting. What do you mean? He looked from me to Wizard, then let out a sigh.
何が
What
聞
do
き
you
たい
want to
の？
know about her?
I hope his memories don't get worse. Yeah, I was gonna say. That was definitely a very bad memory. I stared at him in shock for a moment before quickly recovering. Well, what was she like? Tall. He tilted his head slightly in contemplation.
明るくて
She was sweet and
無邪気
innocent and cheerful.
優しくて
She never lost touch with her
い
inner
つまでも
child.
夢見る少女のような女性。
She sounds nice.
Yeah, she really was.
He smiled. Then he looked deep into my eyes. What?
そういえば
I was just thinking.
少し
You
君
remind me
に
of her.
似てたよ。
Bonk. Bonk, 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 bonk. I do? He nodded.
容姿は全然
You
似て
don't
ない
look
けど、
alike, but you both have the
なん
same
とな
sort
く
of vibe.
雰囲気が。
Snow White calls her mom, everybody else calls her
出会
mom.
っていたら
Stop.
親子みたいに仲良くなれたんじゃないのかな。
If she could have met you, I'm sure she would have loved you like her own daughter.
母様は
She always loved princesses like
君
you.
みたいなお姫様が大好きだったからね。
I wasn't sure how to respond to this, so I fell silent. Then the wizard spoke up.
白雪さん、
Snow White, I'm
あな
told
た
you're
が
acquainted with
漁師君とお
Roshi.
知り合いのようですが、
He is... And change the subject.
そうだけど、
Yeah, oh yeah.
それは
what of it?
どうしたの？
Snow White narrowed his eyes.
夜の湖で
You
出会った
told
そう
me
で
you
す
first
ね。
met at the lake. What were
あ
you
なたは
doing
そ
out
こ
there
で
in the
何
middle
を
of
して
the
いたんで
night?
すか？
Stargazing.
別
Not
に
much.
ただ
Just
湖
looking
を
at the
見ていた
water.
だけさ。
He averted his gaze awkwardly.
鏡の国の
The Looking
湖は
Glass Lake is famous for
まるで
reflecting
鏡の
everything
ように
upside
全て
down,
を
like a
左右
mirror.
対称に映し出すことで有名でしたね。
Like a mirror.
ご自分の姿を見て、
How did you
何
feel
を
when
思
you
って
saw
い
your
たんでしょう
reflection?
か？
別に
Alien.
何でもいいだろう。
Does it really matter?
あなたは
I
ご
hear
自
you
分の
dislike
容
your own
姿が嫌いな
appearance.
ようで
Does
す
that
が、
have something to do with
そ
it?
れと何か関係が？
Snow White pursed his lips together. Sorry, the BGM caught me off guard.
Yeah, that's fair.
Snow White pursed his lips together and glared at the wizard. So I hastily cut in.
What?
All at once, this is taking a deeply uncomfortable turn. So I hastily cut in. Oh, I missed a lot of dialogue there.
Yeah, that's why I was confused.
I was like, oh, new dialogue, and I just realized, oh, I missed it entirely. Sorry for asking you all these nosy questions.
別に
It's fine. You don't have to apologize.
Wizard, can you meet me by the banister
Eh?
real quick?
質問
He's
して
right,
いるのは
after
僕
all.
ですから。
I'm the one asking the nosy questions.
I mean, at least he's honest about it.
Yeah.
He knows that this is a deeply uncomfortable question for Snow.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I was unable to clear the heavy discomfort hanging in the air. The wizard relaxed his postures, letting his arms hang down at his side.
少し話を変えましょ
Allow
う。
me to change the subject.
あなたのお母様
Precisely
がお
when
亡くな
was
り
it
にな
that
ら
your
れた
mother
のは
passed?
いつですか？
Alright, Saku, break up the notes. Emily had no intention of going easy on Snow White.
This again.
またその質問か。
I think this is just like Wizard trying to convince them all that they're part of the same system, that they all share one body.
Probably. I apologize, but we've encountered a few unclear points.
秘密に触れること
Will
は
breaking my silence help Alice in
アリス
some
の
way?
ためになるの？
Maybe.
もちろん。
Of course.
Upon hearing this, Snow White's hostile aura seemed to soften. Then he looked back at the wizard and reluctantly began to speak.
確か
As I recall, it
3
was
月の
around
終
the
わり
end
頃
of
だって
March, because it was still really
まだ
cold.
寒かったからね。あの日
That day, I found myself
気づいたの
standing
は
outside the house without
家の
knowing
外
how I
に
got there.
母様に外に出てはいけ
Mother
ない
had
と
warned me time and time
あれ
again
ほど
not
言
to
われ
go
ていた
out,
のに
yet I disobeyed her.
俺は約束を破ってしまった。家には明かり
The
がつ
lights
いてい
were
て
on inside, so I figured Mother
母
must be
様が
home.
帰ってきたんじゃないかと
Obviously, I put my
俺は
hand
ド
on
キ
the
ドキしながら
doorknob.
家の扉に手をかけた。母様は
I wasn't sure whether she
約
would
束
be
を
mad
破っ
at
た
me
上のことを
or just worried for my safety.
それとも心配してくれるのだろうか。でも
But as it turned out, my
その
answer
ど
was
ちらでもな
neither.
かった。母様は
Instead, she stared at me with cold, unfeeling
俺を見下ろ
eyes.
していた。体に触ると
When I touched her,
すごく
she
冷
was
たい。
ice cold. Instantly.
すぐに
I
母
knew she
様が
was
いなくなっ
gone.
てしまったことに気づいた。それでも
But I loved her so much.
大好きな
I
母
just
様が
couldn't
いなくな
accept
って
that
し
she
まった
was
なんて
dead.
信じたくなかった。もしかしたら
I thought
い
maybe
なく
I
なって
was
しま
wrong
ったの
about
は
the
俺
whole
の勘
thing.
違いで、
Maybe she would come home.
母
I just
様が
waited
帰って
long
くるか
enough.
もしれない。そんなことを夢見
That
て
was what I told myself for weeks while I
冷たくなっ
lived
た
with her
母様
on
と
Taisho.
しばらくの間過ごしていた。
漁師君と出会ったの
And it
は
was
春
that
でした
spring that
ね。
you met Roshi?
ああ、そうだよ。
Yeah, that's right.
漁
I
師と
met
は
him after she
母様
passed.
が死んだ後に出会った。その頃、
At the time, I was at my
俺はい
limit
ろいろと
in
限界
more
だったん
ways
だ。
than one.
美しかった母
The
様
beautiful
が
mother grew uglier
日
with
々
each
醜く
passing
なってい
day,
く。
and I couldn't turn back time.
過ぎた時は
I
戻らない。
couldn't bury, so I fled
そ
from
の
the
ことに耐
house.
えられなかった俺は、
そして
And then you met Roshi
夜
one
の
night at the
湖
lake.
で漁師君と出会った。
Yeah.
He nodded quietly.
漁師はいい
You know,
人
she
だっ
was a
た。
good guy. I knew he would
彼なら
believe me.
俺の話を信じてくれると思った。だから、
So I told him everything.
俺は彼に真実を。
漁師君と知
If
り
the
合
two of
い
you
な
are
ら
so close,
なぜ
then
会お
why
うと
do
し
you
ないんで
refuse
す
to
か？
meet with him?
漁師も分かってい
Yoshi
る
and I
と思
both
うけ
know
ど、
that it's best we don't.
多分その方がいいんだ。
Hmm?
俺がこの辛い記
If I
憶
can
を引
shoulder
き
the
受ける
burden
こと
of
で
these painful memories so no one
他
else
の誰
has
かが
to,
楽になれる
then
の
so
なら
be it.
それでいい。
Snow, the scapegoat. Sorry, martyr. Memories? But the wizard spoke over me.
美しい自己犠牲
Beautifully
ですね。
selfless of you, Snow White.
白雪さんのお話
Sharing your story has helped us a
大変
great
参考に
deal.
なりました。
Snow the Sin Eater? I
またして
I
も
think they
不穏が
literally
生ま
just
れ
took
て
the
しまいました
entire trauma of the system and just put it on Snow, and Snow just kind of accepted because like this is how I can help people.
I mean, that's one way to interpret it, I guess.
Because like it's not the first time Snow is like, if I can be the one to bear these painful memories, then it's better that it's me than someone else.
Yeah, because, like, not always, but a lot of the time, Alter's roles will be holding on to specific memories. So
Mhm.
that's why there are, like, different memories amongst, like, all of these characters, but also Alters in general.
It's also why Snow is a shut-in, because he knows that these memories, if they're out, then it hurts the system, so he keeps them locked in with him.
Yeah. However, this has only created more questions.
なぜあなたのお
Why
母
was your
様は
mother so opposed to you
外に
going
出てはいけ
outside?
ないと言ったのでしょう。
Because they're wolves.
お母
There's
様は
wolves and a dog
優し
boy
い人だっ
and
た
a
んですよ
puppy.
ね。
She was a
なぜあな
good
たを
person,
家に閉じ
correct?
込めるよう
Why
な
would she
ことを
try to imprison you?
Probably because she knows that this condition is stigmatized and people would give him shit for it.
多分
If I had to
最初のう
guess,
ちは
in the
単純に
beginning, she probably just
子供に
wanted me to
留守番を
watch
させ
the
るため
house
に
while she was at work.
言い聞かせていただけなんだ。でも
But then she changed.
母様は変わってしまった。
どんな
No, so.
冷たく
She
な
grew
ってしまった。
I don't mean
体がじゃ
physically.
ないよ。
It was her attitude
そう
toward
じゃなくて、
me. Cold and
俺に
aloof.
対しての態度が冷たくなった。
So something changed.
Mm-hmm.
それまでも仕事で
She was
忙
always
しかったけ
busy
ど、
with work. But whenever she
それでも
came home, no matter
あまり
how
にくた
tired
く
she
たになっ
was,
て帰ってき
she
て
would always hug me.
俺を抱きしめてくれたの。だんだんと
But then we
顔を合
started
わせる
seeing
ことが
less
少
and
な
less
く
of
なっ
each
て、
other. And
その
eventually,
うち
she
何も
stopped
かも
trying at
放
all.
置しておくようになった。ひどく疲れて
She
いる
was
ようだ。
exhausted. In the
最
beginning, I
初は仕
figured she
事が
was just
忙しいの
busy,
かと思ったけ
but
ど、
it was more than that.
それだけじゃない。鏡を見て
Then I
分
looked
か
in
っ
the mirror and realized
た。俺は
I wasn't her real child.
チャー様の本当の子供じゃないんだって。
Next, we paid a visit to Red Riding Hood to talk about life before that event.
Mhm.
all that chess plus talking to Snow White had eaten up a surprising amount of time. Overhead, the sky was already orange. Red!
どうしました？
And what is it?
I'm being attacked! Sorry to drop in on you. Can we ask you something? Red looked at me with concern, possibly still worried about my health. Also, Red is like the one that's constantly on the lookout for threats.
Mm-hmm. Of course, by all means, ask away.
In your opinion, what was your mother like? Taking Snow White's reaction into consideration, I decided to just be straight with him.
それは
Look,
どうして
Do
も
I really
答えな
have
け
to
ればな
answer
らない
that?
のでしょうか？
Yes. Because the game said so. Like Snow White, Red Riding Hood was reluctant, though not to the same extent.
only if you want to help Lady Arisu.
The wizard shrugged.
ミス・アリスの
It'll help her.
He looked from me to the wizard and back. While Snow White and Red Riding Hood didn't seem to have much in common, at times like this, I could totally tell they were related.
実は
Truth be told.
母
I
の
don't
ことは
remember
よく
her
覚え
very
ていません。
What?
母は
After all,
あまり
she was
家に
rarely
帰って
ever
きません
home.
でしたから。
Makes
強いて
sense.
言うなら
If I had to
子供をほっ
describe
たら
her,
かし
I would say
自
she
分の
was an
都合を優
emotionally
先する
distant
ような
person who
冷たい
focused on
人
her own
という印
priorities
象
and
です。
neglected her child.
His opinion of her was the total opposite of Snow White's because Snow White is holding the bad and the good memories.
What do you mean, her priorities?
仕事です。
Her work.
母
She was
は
always busy
花売り
selling
の仕事で忙
flowers.
しいようでしたから。
Snow didn't say what his mother did for work, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to clarify. I wanted to see if those points were consistent. But Snow White said. But also, like, when they talk about Snow White, it's literally just like, hey, I'm gonna focus on my experience. There's only one child here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I started to argue, but the wizard held up a hand to stop me.
つまり、
So your
お母
mother
様
was
はい
never
つも
home.
家にはいなかったと。はい。
Right.
私にとって
She was the distant
母は
presence
遠い
in my
存在
life.
で、
I
ほ
knew
と
she
んど
was my
姿を
mother,
見ない人
but
の
it
こと
didn't really feel
を母
like
と言
it.
われても、自分の母だという私には
I don't
母に優
remember
しく
her
され
ever
た記憶
treating
も
me kindly,
怒られた
nor
記
did she
憶もあ
ever
りま
yell
せん。
at me.
なるほど。
And I
So
see.
not good, but not bad.
Yeah.
You know? Kind of neutral. Wizard folded his arms as he nodded to himself.
少し話は変わり
Slight
ます
change
が
of subject.
あな
I
た
hear you're
は
old friends with
狼
Wolf.
くんと
Is
仲
that
のい
true?
い幼馴染だとお聞きしましたが。
What?
ああ、
Yes.
He stammered, caught off guard by the question.
あなたは
You were at the
昼間の
lake one
湖
day
に
when
一人
Wolf
でい
struck
た
up a
時
conversation.
狼くんに声をかけられ
Nevertheless, the wizard pressed on.
はい。
Yes.
なぜ昼間
Why
の
were you
湖
at the
にい
lake
たんで
that
す
day?
か？
Shouldn't you have
普
been
通な
at
ら
school?
学校に通っています
He
よ
doesn't
ね。
go to school. He's just puppy.
それは
Well,
母
my
が
mother
行か
said
な
I
くても
didn't
いいと。
need to attend.
それはどうしてですか？
And why is that?
Red froze, conflicted. I looked at the wizard. Wondered if it was safe to keep asking questions, but he simply pressed his index fingers to his lips reassuringly. Sure enough, Red slowly regained his composure and began to speak.
My mother always told me, you're unlike all the other kids. You're a precious angel. The world is filled with wicked wolves, and you can never trust them. So if one of them talks to you, be sure to ignore them.
And then you became a wolf, a puppy.
You have to watch the house while I'm gone, understand? And if anyone knocks on the door, don't let them in, no matter what.
でも
But you wanna talk
roughly-
about
外に
outside.
憧れていた
So roughly similar things that Snow said about that conversation too.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
it's because it's something that she said a lot that whoever was an alter at that time has heard it at least once.
Yeah, so if we're looking at like Wizard and Snow existing around the same time, it makes sense that they both heard that phrase.
Mm-hmm. But you wanted to go outside.
Yeah, he wanted to go to the park.
Yes.
He wanted to go for walkies.
あなたは
So you
お母様に
disobeyed her orders to stay at
外に出ないよう言い
home
つけられてい
and
た
to
のに
went
も
out
かかわらず
regardless.
それを破ってしまった
Yes.
Red slumped his shoulders like a criminal caught red-handed.
別にあなたを責める
I'm
つもり
not
はあ
judging
り
you
ま
for
せん
doing what you did.
あな
I
たが
think it's
外
only
に憧
natural
れ
that
る
you
の
would
は
have yearned for
当
the
然の
outside
ことだと
world.
思います普通なら
Any other
あなたは
teenager would have
学校
been
に
at
通い
school, making
友
friends and
達を
having
作り
fun.
外で遊んだでしょうからちなみに
As an aside,
赤ずきんさん
do you
は
remember the time your
お
mother
母
passed
様が亡
away?
くなった時のことをご存知ですか
Oh, she's dead. At this, Red looked up suddenly in alarm. What do you mean she's
それ
dead?
は
Well,
Then he hung his head once more. His riding hood concealed his expression.
Monday. I was at the lake with
私はいつ
Wolf
もの
like
ように
usual.
狼
Oh
と
right,
湖
they
の
do
近く
talk.
で
They
遊ん
do
でいま
talk
した
about this in Wolf's Root. I forgot
そ
about
の
that.
時
Oh wait, no, it was
一
his
人の領
grandma.
収の男
It
が
was Wolf's grandma,
慌
wasn't
たった
it?
様子で声をかけてきまし
Then a
た
man in a hunter's coat showed up in a tizzy.
男が言うには
According to him,
狼の
Wolf's
お母さん
grandmother
が
had
倒れて
collapsed, and she was
孫の
going
名
to
前を
see
呼んでい
him.
るとのことでした
Asking.
Yeah, that too.
おばあさんのことが大
I
好きだ
loved
った私
grandmother
は
very much, so I lied and said I was Wolf so that I could go and see
おばあさん
her.
のお見舞いに行きましたその後の
I don't really remember
よ
what
く
happened
覚えて
after
います
that.
おばあさんがあの後
I'm not sure what happened to grandmother, or
病院
even
から
how I
どうやっ
made
て
it
帰
home
って
from
き
the
た
hospital.
よく
As he
覚えています
collapsed outside and snow emerged.
ただ
The next thing I
気
knew,
がつく
I
と
was outside the
家の
house.
前にいましたその日は
Oddly enough,
珍し
the
く
lights
家
were
の明か
on
りがついてい
inside.
ました
Oh.
母が帰って
I
きた
figured
の
my
です
mother must be home.
私はドキ
Nervously,
ドキし
I
なが
put
ら
my hand on the
家の
doorknob.
扉に手をかけました果たして
Would she be
母は
angry with
私
me,
のことを
or
怒る
would
でしょう
she
か
just be worried for my
それとも
safety?
心配してくれるでしょうか家の扉を開け
Then
て
I opened the door,
私は
and there I
確
found
信し
my
ました
answer.
母は私を
It
怒る
was
こと
then
も
that
し
I
なけれ
understood my
ば
mother wasn't going to yell at
優
me.
しく抱きしめてく
Nor
れ
would
る
she
ことも
hug
ない
me.
のだと母は冷
Instead,
たい目で
she stared at me with
私を
cold,
見下ろしていました
unfeeling eyes.
That's what Snow said.
And after
母は
that
二
day,
度と
she never
家
came
に
home
帰ってく
again.
ることはありませんでした
She also never left home ever again.
Yeah, that's true.
つまり
So, in other
その時点で
words, she had
あなたのお
already
母
passed
様
by the
が
time
死
you
ん
got
でしまって
there.
いたと
わかりませ
I'm
ん
not sure.
And then he
No,
ran
sir.
outside,
No, no, no.
immediately collapsed. Snow got up and then had the same traumatic experience.
Why not?
覚えていないんです
Because I don't remember.
気が
The
つ
next
くと
thing I knew,
母はい
my
なく
mother
なって
was
いた
gone, and
私は
I vowed never to go astray again.
それから二度と道草をしないと心に誓いましたでも
But even then,
それも
He lifted his head and shot a glance in my direction. didn't know how to react, so I just smiled at him out of habit. Just like, keep going, sweetie.
I understand. Thanks to you. I think we've gotten closer to the truth. Okay, so what I think happened is that, like, after, like, Red came back and was in front of the house, I think Snow was also, like, co-fronting at the same time, which is why they had, like, the same thought process upon, like, going into the house. But upon seeing the body, Red switched out. And it was just Snow left.
Yeah, I think Red saw, like, the body and is like, what is this? And then immediately went into hiding. And then Snow is just like, well, now I'm dealing with this alone, fuck.
More or less, yeah. But also, what's important to note is that Red, since he never saw her again, that means he never came back to front until after she was cleared from the cabin.
Yeah, which is after Snow went into hibernating.
Yeah.
Because, again, like, we have confirmed from Ryoshi that Snow was never seen after that point.
Yeah. Anyways. I see. I'm glad to hear it.
And then I think Red kind of became like the, for lack of a better term, the guard dog of the system, where he is always constantly on the lookout for threats.
That's why he's a cop.
Yeah, no shit.
No, but like, even every time that he's faked being a cop, too.
Yeah, and then like, he has that mantra of like, oh, don't go out in the world, there are wolves everywhere, blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
Typically, Red spends his days alone in the woods, by himself, surviving.
Yeah.
So I think he was the one keeping everybody alive when, you know, because we know Snow wasn't keeping anybody alive.
Well, it's possible
Snow
that
could've-
Alice was eating food at that time because, like, if Red ever fronted at that time, Red would have, you know, seen the body.
Yeah, but he could have been outside gathering and foraging, and then he'd come back and then be like, huh, and then just like, before even going inside, just blank, and then another personality comes out.
But then he wouldn't have said that she never came home because then he also would have never been home in that time frame and he wouldn't know why.
Yeah, interesting. I still think that Red is the most competent to gather food out of all of them.
Well, yeah,
To be completely
but
honest. So, I see your point though. So that's why I'm a little like conflicted right now. Because like I still think they were working together to survive. It's just that anytime Red was about to go into the house, Snow's just like, no, let me take it. Let me take it from here.
maybe.
In fact, all of you just go away for a bit.
I need you to understand that fronting and stuff like that isn't really necessarily that conscious of a decision. I will
Yeah,
put
of
it
course.
out there.
Yeah. Anyway, he pulled his hood low over his eyes. Full theory cracked later.
Could I ask one final question? Certainly. Why was it that your mother never wanted you to leave home?
Because he's a precious angel.
Because of the wolves.
The wolves. Ow.
Because I was physically different from the other children.
Oh, elaborate.
How so?
But Red didn't explain further. Damn.
It's because of his puppy years.
I thought it was because he was also physically fit. Like, damn. So the wizard and I went back to my room to review what we had learned. To Snow White, their mother was very kind, but to Red, she was emotionally distant. Strange, isn't it? How can their opinions be such polar opposites?
ですが、
Well, according to
白雪さん
Snow
曰
White,
く
their mother's
お母
personality
様の
changed
印象は
drastically at one
ある日
point.
を境にガラリと変わってしまったようです。そのガラリと変わ
The
っ
way
てし
he
まったお
described
母
her
様
after
と
the change
赤
sounded an
ずきん
awful
さんが
lot
言っ
like
てい
the
るお
emotionally
母様
distant
の
mother
印象
Red
は
Riding Hood
似てい
described.
るようです
Why
が
might that be?
どうしてでしょう。それに
Not to mention,
白雪さん
you
が
have
言
to
った
wonder
よう
why
な
Snow White would think
自
he
分は
wasn't
お
her
母
real
様の子供
child.
じゃないという発言も気になりますね。
So,
赤
crazy
ずきんさん
theory,
の容姿が他と違うから
and it's gonna sound like I'm making fun of some stuff. So, but I want to preface with this by saying I'm not. What if Alice formed these personalities after reading their respective fairy tale stories?
I mean, they're definitely based off of that to some extent.
Yeah.
Because there is also an alter type that is called fictives, which is like taking a character usually from fiction and they end up being an alter.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them exactly fictives though, because they're not like direct rips from the media and instead just heavily inspired. But that
Yeah, they're just using it as like the basis of their story.
yeah, that's definitely very much so a thing in systems though, with fictives.
Anyway,
Matt and Red's comment about his unusual appearance makes me curious.
he puppy, that why.
あの
Hello,
アイス城
Lady Arisu.
Next thing I knew, the wizard was peering into my face. Huh?
僕の
Are you
話
listening?
聞いてます
No. Of course I am. I'm just thinking at the same time. That's all. It takes a lot of brain
器用
power.
な人だ。
You must be good at multitasking.
I feel like a lot of people can listen and think, but I do know there's certain people that can't do both at the same time.
Yeah.
He grinned. Yeah, I get that a lot. I grinned back. Boys. Once he made sure I was paying attention, the wizard sat down on a chair by the window and crossed his legs. He's getting into the detective pose again. Show us how they work on the red light district. my
何を
dude.
考えていたんです
So, what were you thinking about?
The answers to your questions. And the answer to mine.
答えは見つか
Did
り
you
ました
find
か
them?
I've got a few hypotheses, but nothing more than that. Oh no, Sakyu. We hypothesized too much. Now the characters in the story are starting to do that too.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
つまり
So, in other words,
よくわ
you
から
haven't
ない
figured anything out yet.
Well, same to you, buddy. Yeah. But just as about to fall back into thought.
とりあえず
For now,
もう
why
一
don't we
人お母
consult
様の
to
記
the
憶を
one
持
other
つ人を
person who
訪ね
has
てみま
memories
せん
of
か
their mother?
Cinderella. In other words, Cinderella. Yeah, they're the only three that have interacted with the mother.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kaguya formed after.
母さんね。
Cinderella's the
funeral.
only one that has interacted with her dad, though.
Yeah, with their dad, which is,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, that tracks with the timeline. Cinderella was the first. He's seen it all.
Yeah, but it's still interesting that, like, none of the others have.
Well, it's because I feel like what happened is that Cinderella formed when the mother and father were still in the picture, and then the father left because of, like, the whole business collapsing and shit like that.
Well,
So now the
yes.
mother being a single mother, trying to provide for herself and their child. That's when Snow and Red came into the picture.
Yeah, of course.
And then after their death, Kaguya came in.
Yes, I understand this. That doesn't make it any less interesting.
Yeah, it's still interesting.
You
Just
want to
getting
know?
the timeline
Mm-hmm.
further cemented.
You want to know about Mom?
優しくて。
Mom.
She was
Kirei
sweet
na
and
hito datta
beautiful.
yo.
She loves sparkly stuff, just like me.
俺と同じで。
And
Crows.
also, it's been very
Kira-kira to
consistent that
shite
Cinderella
no no
only
suki de sa.
has good memories of Mom.
Mm-hmm.
As the oldest son, Cinderella would arguably remember their mom the best.
お母様に関しての
Did your
印
impression
象
of
は
your mother change at
途
any
中で
point?
変わったりしませんでしたか？
Nope. The wizard wasted no time cutting to the chase. Naturally, this confused Cinderella, seeing as he wasn't privy to the other conversations we had.
すみません。
My apologies.
白雪さん
We've
か
heard a
ら
lot from Snow
いろ
White,
いろ
you
と
see.
伺いました。
A little bit too much from Snow White. At this, Cinderella seemed to put two and two together.
そっか。
Nah, I get it.
Now, let's see if he tells us the truth or if he tells us some convoluted scheme from the memories of the other two, because this could be really interesting how he reacts to this. He let out a sigh.
確かに
It's true that mom
母さ
changed.
んは変わった。
Oh?
父さんがいなくなって
After dad left, we moved to a little
森
cabin
の
in the
中の小さ
woods.
な家で暮らし始めたからだ。
Timeline.
最
Got
初
it.
は
At first,
やけに
I just
顔を
thought she'd gotten overprotective, you know, making me stay
家を
inside
出ちゃ
all
い
the
けない
time.
とかなんとか言って。
Mm-hmm.
あなたは
And did you
そ
obey
の
her
約束を
request?
守りましたか？
いや、
No.
He smiled bitterly.
だからなのかも
And
な。
I guess it came back to bite me.
ある日
Because one day she just stopped being
急
nice.
に冷たく当たるようになった。
Hmm.
異物を見るような
She looked at me like
っていうの
I didn't belong, I guess.
なんだ
Almost like she was afraid of me.
俺のことを怖がっているように
Interesting.
見え
Alice. I mean,
た。でも
But I couldn't hold it against
それ
her.
も仕方ないことだなと思った。母さんは慣れない
Not only
仕
was
事
she
に
struggling
対し
with
て
work, but she was getting hounded by debt collectors
借金
too.
取りにも追われてたんだ。誰も助けてくれ
No
ない
one was
人が
around
い
to
て
help her. She had to do everything herself.
あ
mm-hmm.
の人は一人で疲れてたんだ。
She was just tired.
His tone wasn't hostile or resentful, but sympathetic. This contrasted with the other brothers' reactions.
シンデレラさんは
I can tell you
お
really
母
loved
様
her,
のことが好
Cinderella.
きだったんですね。
まあな。
Yeah, of course. I don't hate her dad for
俺
abandoning
たちを捨て
us
た
either.
父さんのことだって別に恨んじゃねえよ。
Oh, smiling, he looked away.
きっと
I was just thinking I really like this theme.
ほんの少し
They're only
心が
human.
弱かっただ
They
け
have
だ
their flaws like anybody else.
嫌なことから逃げ
Maybe
出した
they
いって
wanted
気
to
持
run
ち
away
は
from their problems.
俺も
I
よ
know
く
the
わかるからな。
After we finished talking with Cinderella, it was time for dinner. Come get some food! After the awkward conversation we had, Cinderella and Red Riding Hood, Snow White was absent as per usual, were eerily quiet, so we ate our cream stew in uncomfortable silence. Then, when they were done, they hurried back to their rooms as if to avoid being around us. Caillou and Gretel didn't comment on this, but they had clearly picked up on it. Once they finished eating, they left the room too. Just like that, the wizard and I were the only ones left.
つまり
Now then,
皆さんの
let's
記
tie
憶を
together
つなげると
everyone's
こ
memories
う
and
い
see
うこ
what
と
we
でしょう
have.
か。
A nice little bow.
昔々
Once upon a
お金
time,
持ちだった
their
彼らの
family
家
was
は
wealthy,
お
and their
父
father
様が
made
事業
some
に
bad
失敗
calls
し
and they fell into
借金
debt.
だらけになってしまった。お父様は
He
家
fled
族
the
を残
country,
して
leaving his family
海外に
behind.
高飛びしてしまった。残されたお
Dad
母
of the
様は
year.
借金
Stuck
返
with
済
the
のため
debt,
に
their mother worked
朝も
day and
夜も
night
な
to
く
repay
必死に
it.
働いた。
Mm-hmm.
お母様は
She was a very
とて
kind
も優
person,
しい人だ
and
っ
then
た。
she hit a point where she started to treat
し
her
かし
children
ある
coldly.
時を境に人が変わったように彼らに冷たく接するようになった。ここまでは
This was
シン
Cinderella's
デレ
and
ラさ
Snow
んと
White's
白
shared
雪さんの共
experience.
通認識ですね。そして
Now,
ここ
now
から
let's
は
add in Red
赤
Riding
ずきん
Hood's
さん
side
の
of the
視点が入
story.
ります。
To him, their mother was a cold, unfeeling person who hardly ever came home.
冷たい人という印象
The
だった。
Snow White and Red overlap. Here we go.
赤ずきんさんは
He resented
家
being
の中
cooped
に
up
閉じ
in
込
the
められる
house,
ことに
and so
嫌
he
気がさし
disobeyed her orders.
お母様の言いつけを破ってしまった。昼間の
Then
湖
one
で
day, he met Wolf
赤ず
at
き
the
んさんは
lake.
狼くんと出会った。二人はすぐに仲
They
良くな
became
り、
fast friends,
毎
and
日
before
遊ぶよう
long,
になっ
they
た。
started spending every day together.
そんなある日、
Then one day, after
い
playing
つ
on
も
the
のよう
lake
に
like
外で
always,
遊んでから
Red
家に
Riding
帰
Hood
る
came
と、
home to find his mother's
本
cold
当
and
に冷たくな
unfeeling.
ってしま
in
っ
a
たお
different
母様
sense.
がいた。ここから
Now we
視
switch
点
back
は
to
白
Snow
雪さ
White.
んに切り替わります。愛するお母
When
様
Snow
の死
White
を
found
目の
his
当たり
dear
にした
mother's
白雪さん
corpse,
は
he was unable
し
to
ばらく
accept
の
her
間
death and had no one
愛
to
する
turn
お母
to,
様の死
so
を
he
受け入れ
continued
られず
living with her.
誰にも相談できず
Are we gonna bring up the fact that Red should have also been living there at the same time, Riku? Or are you just gonna be... Are you gonna let him have the brain cell right now?
でも
But even that
それ
couldn't
もすぐ
last
に
long.
限界を迎えた。日々腐って
He
いく
couldn't
愛
bear
する
to
人に
watch her
耐えられな
rot,
くな
so
った
he
か
ran
ら
out of the house one night
家を
and met
飛び出し
Roshi at the lake.
夜の湖で漁師くんと出会った。その後、
Mhm.
Afterwards,
白
he
雪
told
君は
Roshi everything
漁師く
and
んに
became
全
a
ての真
shogun.
実を打ち明け、ここまでで
Is
しょ
that
う
where
か。
we're at?
I kept my expression neutral as I looked at him. Then he continued.
いや
Good
ー、悲劇の
heavens.
物語
Quite
で
the
すね。
tragic tale we have
ご兄
here.
弟は全員
Everyone in this family has been
なかなかの苦労
through a
人だ。
great deal.
しかしこう
But
なる
at this
と
point, I'm starting to
両親の
wonder
記憶
about
が
the
ない
two
二
who
人が
don't
気にな
remember
り
their
ます。
parents.
かぐやさんは
I
親
understand
戚に
Kaguya
たら
was
い回
passed
しにさ
around
れた
from
そうです
relative
ね。
to relative.
両親がいた
Why
の
was that
に
necessary
どう
if
し
their
て
mother
でしょ
was
うか。
alive?
あとは
And the
白雪さん
comment
が
Snow
言っ
White
た
made
本
about
当
not
の子
being
供
his
じゃない
mother's
という
real
セリ
child.
フ。
What did he mean by
あれは
that?
どういう意味なんでしょう。
It's like it's a mystery. Piece by piece, he laid out all the information for me. But he was the detective, not me. Well, he can't change the system from inside the system. That's not his job. Plus, something in his tone felt almost melodramatic. Like he was testing me. I wasn't enjoying it. Not this time. Heckin' wizard. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Wizard?
Hmm?
Don't you think that maybe we should give it a rest?
おや、
No. What happened?
途中ま
I
で乗
thought
り
you
気だっ
wanted
た
to
の
do
に
this.
どうしたんです？
My first reaction was get mad at him, but I quickly thought better of it. I wasn't being dragged along against my will. I was the one who suggested we team up in the first place. I'm just starting to get scared.
なぜ
Why
怖
is
がる
that?
んです？
It feels like if we go any further, they'll get hurt.
彼らではな
You
く
mean you'll get hurt?
自
Fucking bleeding heart. He shot back coldly.
彼らを傷つけ
You
る
don't
の
need
で
to
は
worry about hurting them. They're already
彼ら
hurt
は
as
す
it
でに
is.
傷ついているんですよ。
Yep. True.
前に言いました。
Remember what I said before? By having a
僕は
precise understanding of their
彼ら
pain
の
and
痛み
suffering, I could plan my next
苦
moves
しみを正しく
accordingly.
知ることで次の一手を打つための手段を講じているんです。そして
And it is your duty to save
彼ら
them.
を救うのが君の役目だ。
Wizard. What? But I'm the one in danger. Oh, no, you're
So
not.
this
You
thing-
sent the letter.
True,
you
but you
know
still
that.
have time.
Do you know something I don't?
He knows a lot
Yes.
of some things you don't, Grey Q.
He knows a lot of some things.
なんでしょ
I'm
う。
afraid I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because he's the wizard. He shrugged and grinned. To me, it felt like he was trying to provoke me on purpose. Instead of beating around the bush, how to take a stab at what you're really saying? You want me to choose.
He's been saying that from the beginning, baby.
I mean, literally
So-
the first line, oh yeah, you know, if you just chose someone, it'd be all said and done.
That's correct.
Have you ever been in love before? Nope.
ありますよ。
Yes, I have.
What the fuck? Have you ever been in love with multiple people at the same time?
いや、
No. I only have
Boku
eyes
no
for
suki
one
na hito.
person.
I mean, he's all about the mission. For some reason, hearing this admission felt like I'd won. I smirked. And I guess you'll never understand how I feel. To me, the thought of choosing just one person is agony. I mean, they're definitely set up to be foils of each other for
Yeah.
this one. So, like, I really think Wizard was, like, the one that's like, oh yeah, you're created to make sure only one of the personalities stays. We don't care which one, just choose the best one.
Yeah.
And then Reikyu Arvisu here is saying, but they're all great. You can't just choose one.
Yeah. Of course.
And I think that sets up a good foil for not only for this story arc, but for like the entire series.
Yeah.
Because like if we look at dating games in general, especially this one, it's like, what have we been doing? We chose all the boys.
Yeah, of course. Gotta hold hands with all of them.
Gotta hold hands with all the boys. All right, theory time.
Yeah, so this is what I have written out for the timeline. I didn't really edit anything since starting the stream besides the 2 months note, because that's how long
Yeah, of course.
Wolf and Red interacted, yes.
Yeah, but it definitely seems like Cinderella and Snow were around at the same time, and then Snow and Red
Yeah.
were around the same time. We have a very good timeline for Kaguya after everything happens,
Yeah.
and then Gretel is after they got picked up by the Arisu household.
Yeah, so timeline is family together. Cinderella gets the pair of glass birds, drops the glass bird. Father gets family into financial dire straits. Father abandons family. Mother and Cinderella move to the cabin in woods. Snow might exist at this time, otherwise why would Mother and him live in a mansion in his dream? Mother
Yeah.
overworks herself but still takes the time to read fairy tales and make pie for Snow White. Red sneaks out despite Mother's warning of wolves. Snow also knows this warning and meets Wolf. Mother dies while Red is out. Snow finds her dead, but apparently Red also saw her dead too, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it could have left a big enough impression on Red that it's like you can't take that memory entirely from him,
Yeah, because
especially if you're Snow.
yeah,
But like, I think Red was so. If we look at the timeline, this is after the mother's change. She's saying, "Hey, stay inside, stay inside." I think Red was born from the desire to go out and see the world.
yeah, I think you're right about that. Anyways, after they find Mother dead, Snow then sneaks out to the lake regularly and meets Yoshi.
Yeah.
I originally put Wolf's grandma going to the hospital, apparently that's the same day as them finding the mother dead, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's literally the same day,
Mm-hmm.
which is very interesting indeed. But again, we know Wolf is outside of the system.
Yeah, of course. After that I put Red goes missing in action because there hasn't really been any reason for Red to be, like, fronting in the system other than just being a general protector as a cop.
General protector,
Yeah.
and then also maybe hunter or like gatherer. But like, because they have to survive somehow.
Yeah. But not
You can't
necessarily
just be
through...
eating rancid pie all day.
It could be Cinderella, though. Because you know that Cinderella was in fact there the entire time.
Yeah.
But anyways, so Snow shows Yoshi the dead mother, then at the funeral, which is obviously after, Kaguya is formed, because in his route it's explicitly stated that's where his memories begin.
Yeah. Literally dead straight, hey, this is where my memories begin. I have no sense of self
Yeah.
before this.
Yeah, and then Kaguya is passed from family member to family member. I don't think anyone else is really involved in that besides maybe Alice and maybe Cinderella as well. Because, yeah, probably Cinderella was also around for that, because Cinderella, once again, knows everyone except for Wolf.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and then Cinderella's whole thing is that I think Cinderella's mostly formed by the fact that, like, he used to be rich and now, like, he had a bunch of debt and he's trying to help work to pay it off.
yeah, that's part of why, like, his route is like that, because that's his dream, per se.
Yeah. But I think that's, like, the major crux of the memories that form Cinderella. So he could have been around the whole time, and maybe he pops up here and there, but I think the crux of his, like, personality and formation is that first bit of the timeline.
Yeah. Yeah, then, like, Kaguya's story happened with being passed from family member to family member, but then being in the orphanage with that one unnamed girl. And then after that, the Odyssey family takes in Alice at an unknown point at this time, and then after that,
before that, there was a quick scene that happened here that we made a couple comments on, the physician scene.
Yeah.
I think that was before Ryoshi started treating Alice.
Well, yeah, but we don't know when that is.
Well, it had to be after he graduated college, because he was still in college when he met Snow. So that was 6 years ago.
I mean, yeah, but once again, we still don't know when exactly that is. Because if 6 years ago is when their mother died, there's more gaps between there and now.
But the way I'm saying is, like, I think another physician had their hands, or, you know, their expertise used on Alice first, before Ryoshi came in.
Yeah, that could have been at the orphanage, actually.
Yeah. Because it's like, hey, there's something wrong with this kid. We should probably get him, like, psych-evaled or something.
Yeah. But like I said, this was mostly written before the stream, so of course I wasn't going to include the physician.
Yeah, of course, but, like, it's information that we should add, because it's important.
Yeah.
And then after that, Arasu family takes them in, the hunters, and then sometime after that, Gretel is formed.
Yeah.
With the biggest sister complex ever, which makes sense because consistently, Reikyu and Ryoshi's mom and dad have been out of the house, so of course you would not have any good connections with parental figures. Ryoshi's also out of the house.
Yeah.
For his own reasons. I'm assuming it's because he's trying to, like, treat them, but also realizes that, like, hey, if he's more of a prominent figure in their lives, they're gonna start questioning things.
Yeah.
So really, Gretel only had one person to latch onto, which was Reikyu.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw what happens when that happens. Oh my god. The nightmares.
I guess I should also add Snow going dormant, because that's important.
Yes, Snow going dormant after Ryoshi. Fucking Gretel. Yeah, fuck Gretel, man. Like, he has no reason to be that the way he is, but, like, damn. I still feel bad for him, but goddamn, man.
There we go.
Yeah, so I think we have a pretty decent idea of the timeline. We might be missing a few key details here and there, but, like, the timeline seems pretty okay.
Yeah.
So, the other big thing we talked about during this episode, the fact that Alice is probably the origin.
Mm-hmm. The host.
The host. So it's Alice's body, but the way Alice talked about himself, it seems like he sees himself as, like, pretty unremarkable.
Well, yeah.
So he's, like, trying to make the perfect version of himself with all these alters. And then, oh yeah, we didn't even talk about Wizard. Wizard is definitely, in my mind, Wizard is an alter, but he is the darkness that is designed to go in and be like, okay, we're gonna evaluate all these boys. Which one should stick around? Because then we'll just get rid of the rest of them.
Yeah.
And they've kind of had like this whole like light and dark motif with Reikyu and the Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every time Reikyu talks about the Wizard, it's like, oh my god, he's got like a darkness in his eyes, or like blah blah blah, you know, other shit. I think the most explicit one was the chess match, honestly.
Yeah. That type of foil exists with the Wizard and Snow as well.
Yes.
Which I think that might be why, like, Snow was formed too. Because of being fed all these fairy tales, it's like, oh, well, maybe Snow can be the princess type of thing.
Maybe Snow can be the prince, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no. Snow made like a lot of comments that like their mother preferred princesses, and like something about like wishing that Snow was a girl or something like that.
I don't think she ever wished for Snow to be a girl.
Oh wait, no, that was Snow's interpretation of it, because that was all his dream, right? Fuck. Because I remember Snow's route where like Reikyu almost had to swap places with Snow.
Yeah.
Which was like, oh. Nightmares, man. But yeah, I'm definitely confident about the Wizard being the darkness in the realms between.
Yeah.
And especially, like, Alice knows this. Like, he knows what the Wizard's doing, because he explicitly called it out. He's like, oh yeah, the darkness is swallowing you because you have no sense of self right now.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is like something that you would know if, you know, you had no sense of self and you were constantly getting erased and reconstructed. Because I think since Alice lives in that darkness world, I am pretty sure he has fallen into the darkness and then come back out of it somehow multiple times, because he just can't get rid of himself.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I'm very interested to see what Alice's like whole thing is. I'm very interested with how the Wizard's handling this storyline right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like he's definitely connecting the dots for Reikyu to say like, hey, these are all the same person.
Yeah.
These are all individual personalities in a system. They all share one body, and that body's host is the most tragic out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And your job is to not only save your fiancés, but also save Alice. I think that's what... Well, right now I think Wizard's just trying to do his role, like, hey, which personality do we keep around? But I think eventually he's going to come around to, like, okay, well, how do we save Alice then if we're going to keep everybody around?
Mm-hmm.
How do we save the most tragic of them all?
Yeah. Because I know for
like,
a fact Alice is gonna get roped into this somehow, despite him not showing up yet. Just because of, like, I know I've seen him have a sprite and screenshots for episode 3 that we have not seen yet. So...
yeah. Like, he's definitely gonna get roped into this, and that's gonna lead into episode 4, the finale. Probably.
I'm not sure, we'll just have to see.
I mean, the fact that they gave Alice his own episode says a lot.
Well, yeah, of course, because he's the host.
Well, also, like, it's a separate game entirely.
Well, yeah.
So there's definitely gonna be, like, enough content there for, like, a ton of shit to go down. It's not gonna just be like, oh yeah, we're gonna wrap up the story and haha, bye.
Yeah. That would be kind of funny,
like,
though.
I'm expecting some big things from Alice's episode, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Wizard's gonna wrap up, like, here's what's going on. Like, Wizard's setting the stage.
Mm-hmm.
But then Alice's route's gonna be like, how do we navigate this in a way that either everybody lives or we pick one and everyone else dies?
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting because like it's I kind of made the comparison before, but I was like, this kind of seems like it's a little bit, it's subtext, but it's like they're saying this is what's the best about Otome games is that you get to pick everybody, and that's kind of where the wizard Reikyu battle is happening right now. It's like, do we pick one or do we pick all of them?
Yeah.
Because like obviously people have their favorites.
Mhm.
Peachy.
Oh dear.
Oh, whoa. But yeah, it's very interesting. I did not think this game was going to get like deep on a game developer level. I thought it was just going to be like, haha, we're going to have funny boy story, and now it's like, ooh, wait, there's a lot more going on here. Fuck.
Yup, it wouldn't be a game that I would be interested in if there wasn't a lot going on.
I love Snow, but like platonically, I want to pet him like a little cat. True.
Valid. So valid.
True though. He's just a little meow meow.
Yeah, just a little meow meow.
A little traumatized meow meow.
Just like the rest of them.
The tiniest meow meow. Yeah, and I think Wizards making a good point. It's like, hey, they're already hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ignoring it is not going to help them.
Yeah.
And this is the only way that you can understand what's going on. Kaguya, maybe red because puppy. Puppy. He definitely is puppy. But I think now it's safe to say, I think now is a good time to ask, who's been your favorite boy, Sakyu?
Alice.
Damn it. I mean, yeah, totally Alice. Wanna hug the bunny, Kaguya, Alice lovers unite? I could say I'm not a very big fan of Alice. I'm not a big fan of the brat character.
That's fair.
Like they're funny to tease, but like someone I'm like I would spend my entire life with them. No. I would kick them out of a window. I would defenestrate them.
The banter would be so good, though.
The banter would be good, and I appreciate that in a friend. And I don't mind a little sarcastic, like what you saw before. Like, I'm a yes and guy. I will keep going with a joke. So like, I love banter, but like every day of my life, no, like you. Cindy is very endearing. Cinderella was a very good start. I will give them that. Cinderella was like very strong out of the gate. I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying this.
Mm-hmm. Who's your favorite so far, Elix?
Who's my favorite? Let's see.
You gotta pull out the PowerPoint.
Let's go. You know what? I'll rank them.
Okay.
At the top. Wait, should I start from top or from bottom?
Up to you.
Let's start from bottom. It's more dramatic. At the bottom, the story that I like the least, Kaguya's. Which might be surprising because I talk shit about Gretel a lot. But
yeah.
Like, I have a thing about like suicide and suicidal topics. I don't like the stories that revolve around them.
That's fair.
Next up. Let's see. Kaguya's at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean I didn't particularly care for Snow Story. So he's like second to the bottom.
Fair enough.
Like it was interesting. I like a good dream theory, but the fact that I can just wave away most of what happens in Snow's story as it was a dream, besides the stuff that I can corroborate from other stories, kind of kills it for me.
That's fair.
And then following that up with Gretel, because Gretel just feels like it's a fantasy.
I mean,
Straight up fantasy.
yeah.
Gretel is a fuckwad. His story is weird. Kaguya's story is straight fucked. up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, Kaguya's is fucked up. Snow's was fine, but I could waive most of it with Dream Theory, so I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, there's details in the other stories that we could wave away as Dream Theory, but it just felt like it was the least concrete of all of the stories. Still very enjoyable. So, and then Gretel's. We've talked about Gretel's story. That story might have traumatized me, honestly. Like, fuck that guy.
Fair.
Which leaves Red and Cinderella, right?
I mean, depends on if you feel like ranking.
Oh yeah,
Alice and the
Wizard.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't know where Wizard's going. Oh yeah, then there's Alice. We don't know Alice's story yet, but if I've been ranking them based on the stories so far, but if we're talking, the next ones might just have to be based on attitude and looks alone. Next up, I would say is Red. Red's story, very enjoyable. Red's personality, I don't know, rubs me the wrong way somehow. He is very adorable, I will give him that. But like, he is shy, which is fine. But then he's like, I want to be taken seriously, so I'm going to be like the defender, I'm going to defend people, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's fine. It felt like we were reading through a superhero story. It was great. After that, Alice. All the scenes that we've seen with Alice have been pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. The banter is really nice.
Yes.
He is not my top. Wait, he would be my top 3 then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
He's
job.
3rd, so that's top 3. Next up, the Wizard. I feel like Wizard wrapping up everything with like a kind of a nice bow, honestly. Let's be real here. Like he's starting to be like, oh yeah, see how these details kind of like support each other, but then they kind of contradict each other at the same time. Isn't that interesting? And I feel like he's pointing not just Reiki, but the reader in the direction of saying like, this is what we're trying to tell you the story.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck learns that their partner is highly traumatized by their best friend's suicide and like attempts suicide in front of them? Yeah, that's why I say Kaguya is the worst story. Like, it felt manipulative. The ending felt manipulative, and it fucking irked at me.
Well, actually thinking about it, since like all their routes are presumably their own dreams, it could just be that Kaguya like thought that's what had to happen because of what happened with his best friend.
Maybe.
Because I don't think
Again,
Rikyu actually did that.
Yeah, I could see it if every story is their own dream.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, my number 1 guy, Cinderella.
Fair.
Nali is like he's the first story for a reason.
Yep.
Very strong start, very good personality. Once we got past the fact that he was kind of obsessed with himself.
Yeah.
Like, once we got past that fact, really decent guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why he's my favorite, because he's just really decent all around. He tries to protect the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to protect the player from time to time, but he's still, like, snarky enough to get some quick jabs in.
Yeah.
And he's quick-witted enough to know when to, like, punch, which is really nice.
Yeah.
There are some comments that he makes that I feel like are a little, like... He does misread the room from time to time with jabs, because he's just trying to get a jab in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, now's not the time, buddy, but, like, you know, when it's the time, he is on it. Anyway, I just talked a lot, so...
Yeah, you did. I'm gonna raid Miss Squeaks. They're currently playing It Takes Two. Yay.
With who?
I don't know.
We'll find out when we get there. Excellent.
Yeah. There's the raid message. You guys can go ahead and copy paste.
Like, that's saying Sindir feels more like he has an arc more than the others, which is probably on purpose given the whole DID thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if we go from, like, Cinderella's arc to be like, oh, I need to make myself better, to, like, something like Gretel's route, where it's like, I need to accept who I am, and that certain relationships are not great, so I have to reframe my relationships with other people. So it's like, I could see it.
Well, anyways, without further ado, you guys could talk more about theories and stuff in the Discord. Make sure to use spoiler tags when appropriate, and I will catch you all next time, be it tomorrow or next week. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Spoiler these nuts!
Okay.
I got one in.
Yes, you did. Fucking
Let's
dork.
go.